retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with a cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Don't take for their disease. Rage is like a weed.
God, it is absolute shit outside. It's cold, it's raining. I figured that we were getting all set and ready for the summer months. I thought we were getting all set and ready for summer months, but Mother Nature decided, no, New Jersey. I'm going to give you one last middle finger with a cold, rainy weekend to end your month of April. So while Mother Nature says, fuck you, it's going to be cold and rainy, it is nice, hot, and sizzling right here in the storm's lair, and it can only mean that it's Saturday! You know what that means. We're live! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the greatest fucking show on earth. We are streaming live across 4 different platforms, 6 different accounts. We are rocking and rolling, and we are getting ready for yet another big time set of streams coming up in the month of May. May is going to be loaded for the DJ Storms brand. But before we get into that, as of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle. No. Shit. Do you smell that? Do you know what that is? I will tell you exactly what that is right there. That right there is the smell of pure fucking excellence. Wait for it. Wait for it. Two-man kind. And this is the official lightning flash update for Saturday, April 29th, 2023. We are getting set to end the month of April on an incredibly high note, and I greatly appreciate every single one of you stopping on by and showing good old DJ Stormzy some love. We got Earl Cole in the chat. We also got DD, of course. She is my number one mod. If she's missing a stream, then you know something's wrong. Of course, you got Peanuts as well, and Dylan. Nice solid crowd to start off the stream, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting even more people as we continue on. But why don't I take a sip of my ice water right here. We got ourselves plenty of material to discuss, plenty of material to talk about. But before we get into it, we need to get through some self-brand promotion and advertisements. First of all, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. Once again, that is at HistoryMakerDJS, both on Twitter and Instagram. You can also add me on Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please make sure that you like the official DJ Storms business page. And I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, Earl is an exclusive member of it. He is a senior administration member of it. So Earl Cole knows what it's like to be a part of the elite members of the DJ Storms Posse. Congratulations to Earl, by the way, who recently just hit 300 subscribers and counting. He has been an incredibly hard worker as of lately, and he has put a hell of a lot of effort into his brand, into the wrestling experience. So shout out to Earl. Thank you for being a very good friend and a great supporter of the DJ Storms brand as well. Earl Cole, he is a real one. He's a real one. So show Earl Cole some love. We have a lot of shit going down in the month of May, and we're going to kick it off on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Of course, for the Star Wars fans out there, you would get the reference. Speaking of Star Wars fans, my man Crowbar, him and Rick Recon just did a tables, ladders, and chairs steel cage match at an ISPW event last night in Avenel, New Jersey. Fucking crazy. Rick Recon ended up winning the match, so their series is tied 2-2. I hope to see a fifth match down the line. But shout out to Crowbar. He is fantastic at what he does. He is also going to be in action 1 week from today at 80s WrestleCon and the Rock and Wrestling Show in Morristown in the Menon Arena here in New Jersey. That's going to be starting at 11 a.m. We got the pre-match festivities. We got ourselves some signings. We're going to have people like Val Venus. He's going to be there. Brian Kendrick. We got the British Bulldog Jr., Davey Boy Smith Jr., right? Powers of Pain, the Headbangers, they're going to be there. We got Bret Hart. He's going to be doing some signings. We got a lot of people showing up. I'm going to be there. And hopefully I'll be able to set up everything in time. I plan on doing a live LFU from 80s WrestleCon. I do. It's going to be good. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be like some you've never seen before. It's going to be great DJ Storms brand exposure. It's going to be awesome. It's going to have fun. So if you're in the New Jersey area, come on down to the Menon Arena in Morristown, New Jersey. The pre-match festivities start at 11 a.m. The actual show starts at 5 p.m. So I will not be tweeting live for Backlash because it actually takes a while to get back and forth between the Menon Arena and Elmwood Park, which is where I'm located at. It's going to take a while, but I'm going to do my best to get back there in time, and I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to make sure you guys get my thoughts and opinions and my analytical stances and beliefs, everything on Backlash, because Earl Cole is actually going to be joining me on May 7th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Rewind for Backlash. So, Earl, if you guys are a fan of Earl, you guys are a fan of me, when we come together, I'm telling you, we go together like tacos and Tuesdays. So please set your calendar dates for next Sunday, May 7th. Earl is going to be coming on my channel for the Rewind for Backlash. May 4th, however, before I got sidetracked, a good follower, good supporter, good friend of mine, Raphael Katchen, if you've seen him in the chat, you would know who he is. He is going to be appearing on the Rundown for WrestleMania Backlash, or Backlash, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He's going to be appearing on the Rundown for the show. That's going to be on May 4th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you guys want to get my predictions and all the previews for Backlash down to a T, please go search calendar dates for May 4th. Me and Raphael, we're going live right here on the channel for the Rundown. It's going to be good. Of course, we got the Rewind, like I said, with Earl. And then on May 11th, I will be venturing back over to Earl Cole's channel. I will be boarding the mothership once again, as I will be a guest on the Wrestling Experience on Thursday, May 11th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where we are going to discuss everything that went down on AEW Dynamite on May 10th. And on Dynamite May 10th, they just announced a huge steel cage match between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. So the revisitation of that rivalry, that's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to discuss that with Earl. On May 23rd, that's a Tuesday, May 23rd at 8:30 p.m., my main man from PWP Nation, Jay Leto, he's going to be coming back to my channel because we are going to talk about none other than the two WWE events going down over Memorial Day weekend. We got Night of Champions on May 27th. That's going to be from Saudi Arabia. And then the following day, we will see NXT Battleground. So we're going to do the rundown for NXT Battleground and Night of Champions. That's going to be on Tuesday, May 23rd. That will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys are just joining, we're 11 and a half minutes into the stream. I don't know why you haven't liked the stream. When you come on in, got to make sure that you like the stream, like it on my YouTube channel, or if you're watching on the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel, like it on Hardcore Sports YouTube channel. You will see the links down below. Hardcore Sports Twitter, we're also streaming live on. It's at Hardcore Sports _. I'm going to get this banner recreated, or at least the Twitter link at the bottom I got to get recreated because it's no longer Hardcore Sports N. It's Hardcore Sports _. Instagram as well. Go follow us there. And of course, we're streaming live on Twitch as we speak. Please go check out all of the Hardcore Sports links in the description. And please go subscribe to Hardcore Sports because we are rocking and rolling with Hardcore Sports. We are over 520 subscribers for Hardcore Sports. Hardcore Sports, we are not even 1 year old. And Hardcore Sports, we have ascended the subscriber rate faster than anyone could have ever anticipated. And of course, with me being the lead of the wrestling department, I mean, it was a foregone conclusion that we were going to gain some subscribers at a fast rate. Just to let everybody know, because I'm DJ Storms, and DJ Storms is the ruler of the IWC. I trump all. Anyway, subscribe to Hardcore Sports. We have a lot of great content creators over at Hardcore Sports, including Earl Cole himself, my main man, Mitch Kofsky, Mac the Giants fan, Jeffrey Turner, AK Eagles, many people in between. Hardcore Sports is a great place for all top-tier sports analytics and top-tier sports discussions and thoughts and opinions. If you're looking for thoughts and opinions and analytical dissections and discussions on hockey or NBA or MLB or NFL or UFC, WWE, AEW, we got you covered. We got you covered. So come on, stop by, subscribe to Hardcore Sports, have a fun time. Please make sure when you like the stream, you share it out on all platforms, social media, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you may be using. Get as many people in here as possible because we want the largest outreach, and everybody needs a little daily dose or a weekly dose or a monthly dose or a yearly dose. Everybody needs just a little dose of DJ Storms in their life because DJ Storms, let me tell you something, when DJ Storms pops on in and you get a little taste of DJ Storms, telling you, it's said to make you live longer. It's said to give you a really good heart rate. It's said to really pump the blood through your veins, and it's said to have your lungs cleared up. I mean, if you're a smoker, you come on and watch DJ Storms, and the smoke clears up from your lungs when you watch DJ Storms. I just have that power. Everybody needs DJ Storms because I make your life better. I make your life better. Please make sure you share out the stream on all platforms, social media. And, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace because that way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. Do you know why? Because it's the only time that you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautifully crafted mustache right here, handcrafted by the Angels. Give me a second. Earl is here. Hula Grim's not here, so he's going to miss out on it. But Earl Cole is here, so Earl Cole is going to get to see this beautifully crafted ace comb, and we're going to let it up right here on the stream with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like fresh fried chicken, matter of fact, no, fresh baked chicken with 2 cheeses on it, and with Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce put between 2 buns and nice crispy tater tots baked out of the oven. I am telling you, people, I am just so good. Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. You already know the deal. Shout out to Lisa, by the way, who just joined. And yes, I was texting her when she was stoned last night because she is absolutely unbelievable. Baking cookies while she's stoned. Unbelievable. Yes, Cajun spicy tater tots. That's the way to go, Lisa. That's the way to go. Anyway. Enough of the self-brand promotion, the advertisements, enough of the chit-chat. We're going to get right into the festivities here. Let's talk about the news, rumors, and reports. It was a loaded week in the world of professional wrestling across both companies. We got a lot of shit to get into and a lot of shit outside of AEW and WWE as well. Let's start off with Rey Fenix. Dave Meltzer noted on the Wrestling Observer Radio that Rey Fenix is currently, and I quote, banged up and will be taking some time off to heal. Now, if you guys have been paying attention, you would know that Rey Fenix has been embroiled in some crazy fucking matches and storylines in the last 6 months. He was 1/3 of the AEW World Trios Champions with Pac and his brother Penta El Cero Miedo, and they went through a best-of-7 series with the Elite, which resulted in some crazy matches, including false count anywhere matches and no DQ matches and ladder matches. And then he went to Ring of Honor, and we had that crazy fucking ladder match at Supercard of Honor where the Lucha Bros won the tag team championships. So with the rate that he's been going at, I completely understand why he wants to take some time off to heal. I hope that he's not taking too much time away because, again, the Lucha Bros, they just won the tag team championships. Thankfully, it's not any major injuries. It's just wear and tear on his body being built up from going hard over the course of the last 6 months, which is completely understandable. And unfortunately, that is the price that you pay. I mean, just look at what happened to Randy Orton. Randy Orton, he had to take a year plus off because of his back injury that stemmed from all these years, 20 years of taking bump after bump after bump after bump on his back. I mean, you can imagine Rey Fenix with the spots that he does. You can imagine what he's going through as well. So look, Rey Fenix wants to take some time, no problem. I just hope that it's not too long because Rey Fenix and Penta, they just won the tag team titles, and you can't have them not defend the tag team titles. They've only defended them once, and that was at Battle of the Belts number 6 back at Long Island on April 7th, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, April 7th. It was a Friday. It was April 7th. It was right after AEW Rampage, and they successfully defended the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles against then TNT champion Powerhouse Hobbs and QT Marshall. Very good match. Very good match. I will not discredit them. But again, I hope that he gets back in shape, and I hope that he gets back happy, healthy, ready to go sooner rather than later, because we need the Lucha Bros on Ring of Honor, and we do not want to be without Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions for an extended period of time. And it seems as though the Kingdom could very well be next in line to take on the Lucha Bros for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles, which I have no problem with. I got some conflicting reports on Mercedes Moné. Now, the two conflicting reports I have come from Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp. Now, Meltzer reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that Mercedes Moné agreed to a contract extension with New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom, although it is unclear how long that this extension is. Then, almost as soon as that came out, it was Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful that actually reported that Mercedes Moné and her deal is actually coming to an end. She's not tethered to New Japan or Stardom in a contract deal. She will be appearing at New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Resurgence, where I believe she is in a little tournament to crown an IWGP New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Champion. Now, she recently lost the IWGP Women's Championship to Mayu Iwatani at All-Star Grand Queendom in Yokohama, Japan last Sunday, and reportedly going around, she has permanently located herself in Japan. Now, I really don't know what's going on there. I'm not sure if she's just doing a Japanese world tour and she doesn't want to be tethered specifically to one promotion. But to me, it seems very, very odd that she would not tether herself to New Japan or Stardom, especially after she just won the Women's Championship, and now you take it off of her after 2 months. It almost seems counterproductive. Like, why'd you take it off of Kyrie if you were not going to have Mercedes hold it for an extended period of time? I'm not saying that she needs to pull a Roman Reigns, but I mean, at least have her hold it to maybe August, July, August. That would give her a solid amount of time. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's definitely worth a topic of discussion. And if you ask me, I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Now, I don't know what specifically is going on with Mercedes. She's very reserved. She's very private. But if she is not tethered to New Japan and Stardom, I say that there is a very good chance that we could be seeing her under Tony Khan very, very soon. If not at Forbidden Door, we could definitely see her in Wembley Stadium. Hell, there's actually a report going around for the Wrestling Observer newsletter that on June 17th, which is supposedly the debut of AEW Collision in the United Center in Chicago, CM Punk's going to be returning that day. And reportedly, another major name could make a debut and or return. Some people are throwing around Bill Goldberg. I hope not. I don't think Tony Khan would be that stupid. But Bill Goldberg's a different topic of discussion for a different time. If we're talking about another major name, the second biggest name right under CM Punk that Tony Khan could bring in is Mercedes Moné. Just something to think about. But as of right now, she lost the IWGP Women's World Championship. She will be competing at Resurgence. That's going to be on May 21st, if I'm not mistaken, which is a Friday. Is it a Friday? Let me check. Well, when is it? When is May 21st? It is no, it's not a Friday. It's a Sunday, actually. Excuse me. It is actually the week before AEW Double or Nothing and NXT Battleground, which is taking place on the same day. And by the way, Shawn Michaels, please do not bullshit anyone. Do not bullshit anyone, Shawn Michaels. We all know that NXT Battleground was deliberately constructed to counter-program AEW Double or Nothing. Fucking stupid. Speaking of someone who was tethered to Mercedes Moné, Trinity Fatu, a.k.a. Naomi, she recently just made her debut in Impact Wrestling. Good for her. Good for her. And you know what? I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with that whatsoever. Number one, they have a very good women's division. You take a look at Impact. Listen, Impact may be, bottom of the barrel when it comes to pro wrestling, but Impact Wrestling does have a very nice set of women employed with them. And they really have taken women's wrestling and they've made it something of substance. Something of substance. So I am not going to shit on Trinity joining Impact. Plus, she's not going to stay there forever. She's not going to stay there forever. We should, at some point, see Trinity under Tony Khan, whether it be for Ring of Honor or whether it be for AEW. Matter of fact, I don't think that this deal with Impact Wrestling is going to last that long with Trinity. I actually do believe that Tony Khan, specifically because Trinity was in attendance at Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, I think that they are going to be building up Athena on Ring of Honor to be this unstoppable force, which they have been. Athena's been running through everyone. She's been saying, fuck you to everyone. She's been taking out female after female after female. And above all else, she is not a cowardly heel champion. She's not a heel that's just going to sit around. She's going towards the competition. She's going out of her way to fight competition. I like that about Athena. That's great shit right there from Athena. So if they want to, I would not be opposed if they bring in Trinity. Matter of fact, I think Tony Khan does have a long-term vision to potentially bring in Trinity. And if she's going to fight Athena and win the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship, man, that's going to be a great moment for Trinity. That's not off the table. But I am not mad about Trinity joining Impact Wrestling. I think she's going to have a decent amount of success over there. AEW. So switch over to AEW right here. AEW has filed to trademark the term AEW Wrestle Dream. The purpose listed for this includes conducting entertainment exhibitions in the nature of wrestling events. Now, a show with a similar name took place in Kobe on April 1st, 1991, involving wrestlers from the WWF and Super World Sports. Now, I was not around at that time. I did not do the research, so I don't know what exactly the meaning behind Wrestle Dream back in the day was, or why they decided to do it, or if it was a major success or not. But regardless, if they're going to do something like this, could this potentially be a means to a new pay-per-view? Could this be a potential means to a new multi-promotion show? They already got Forbidden Door with New Japan. So if you want to branch out and do some more shit like that, maybe work with an Impact, maybe work with an MLW, maybe work with some people on the independent scene, maybe work with some people in the UK. I know that, people in the UK, they love their professional wrestling. They don't get it all too often, but they're very passionate about their wrestling. Could this be another means to an international show? Maybe the first ever live show in Japan, something like that. I don't know. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. It's definitely something that is going to be rather interesting if Tony Khan really decides to make this a big deal. All In is really being made out to be a big deal, and we don't even have a single fucking match announced. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on with AEW Wrestle Dream. But as far as I know, I do not know of anything that could very well take on the name Wrestle Dream. I have not heard anything about a Wrestle Dream event in the future, but it could very well be a multi-person event with AEW being its main host. Moving on here, I got someone who clearly does not like me. Someone who clearly does not like. She has me blocked. Cora Jade is in the news today. And the motherfucker whose name that I cannot pronounce to save my life, Louis Dongor, can someone please, does someone have a video of this motherfucker on YouTube somewhere? Does someone have a video of this retard saying his name? How do you pronounce this guy's name? How do you pronounce this guy's name? Is it Dongor, Dongor? How the fuck do you pronounce it? I've been using this guy, this fucking moron, as a fucking source for the last 4 years, and I still don't know how to fucking pronounce his name. But anyway, Dongor, he reported that WWE apparently views Cora Jade as the next Sasha Banks, and she is currently one of the stars being eyed for a main roster call-up in the draft. If you guys did not watch SmackDown, I will update you. Cora Jade did not get drafted last night on SmackDown. Could she get drafted on Raw? Possibly. But when I'm reading this, I was reading this and I was thinking to myself, are they really fucking serious with this shit? You look at Cora Jade as the next Sasha Banks. First of all, there will never be another Sasha Banks. There will never be another Mercedes Moné. That is just utterly ridiculous. Has anyone genuinely watched closely when Cora Jade wrestles? Saying that Cora Jade is going to be the next Sasha Banks is already setting her up to fail. Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, has created a standard bearer for women's wrestling that no one is going to come close to. There is no one on the planet that measures up to the amount of intensity, the amount of passion, the amount of love, the selling, the character, the ambiance. No one has what Mercedes Moné has. There are a couple people that can come close, but no one is on the level of Mercedes Moné. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Cora Jade, she's got a long way to go. She's been trying. I'm not going to say she hasn't been trying. She's been trying to get better, but in no way, shape, or form is she on the level, nor is she even close to the level of a Sasha Banks. You putting that ceiling on her, putting that ceiling above her, it is going to be impossible for her to break through, and you will be setting her up to fail. At the end of the day, WWE should just let Cora Jade be Cora Jade. Why do we have to find the next Sasha Banks? Why do we need to find the next Rock, the next John Cena, the next this, the next that? Why don't you have these guys? Why don't you have Cora Jade be the first Cora Jade? Why don't you have Carmelo Hayes be the first Carmelo Hayes? Why don't you have Grayson? I've seen people compare Grayson Waller to The Miz. How about instead of being the next Miz, how about Grayson Waller focuses on being the first Grayson Waller? I really fucking hate this shit. Could they have comparisons to certain people? Yeah, they could have comparisons to certain people. But why are you putting ceilings above these individuals, some ceilings that are going to be impossible for many of the talent to break through? Just let them be themselves. Let them carve their own legacies. Hearing this is just absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's comedic almost. Cora Jade does not have the intensity. Cora Jade does not have the character. Cora Jade does not have the ambiance. Cora Jade does not have anything that resembles, she's the next Sasha Banks. She's trying to get better, but she is still as green as they come. She still comes off as if she's reading off of a script. She's not as intense as she needs to be. She has been trying to get a little better in the intensity department, but she is nowhere where she needs to be. I'm not saying she needs to be like Jamie Hayter, but she is not where she needs to be. Cora Jade needs at least another year and a half, 2 years down in NXT. The fact that they're calling her up in the draft really shows me that they're trying to rush her into a position where she is ultimately going to fall flat on her face. And I don't like Cora Jade, but that's not fair to Cora Jade. That's not fair to Cora Jade whatsoever. You are putting her in a position to fail, and it is not going to look good on her. And in the end, the fans are going to end up rejecting Cora Jade, just like they rejected guys like Roman Reigns when you tried to push him as the next John Cena in 2015. Took you fucking 7 years to turn him heel. Cora Jade is not the next Sasha Banks, and no one should be looking at her as such. Seth Rollins versus Omos at Backlash. And people have been complaining. Where's the story? What's the reasoning behind this match being booked? What's going on with these two? Did we miss something? If you guys needed any indication, any more indication than you've already gotten, if you needed any more of the indication that Vince is back in charge, this is it right here. Ringside News provided an update on WWE's reasoning behind booking Rollins versus Omos at Backlash. The site reported, and I quote, Ringside News asked around about Seth Rollins and Omos' match at Backlash. We asked a tenured member of the creative team about the logic behind this encounter, and we received another question in response, and I quote, who said there was logic behind this? End quote. So pretty much what they're telling you, the reasoning behind this match is there is no reasoning. It was just booked. It was just booked because. It was just booked to fill a spot on the card. It was booked because Vince McMahon. I'm still trying to figure out why Omos is still even employed. As if this is going to be anything of substance. Now, I could ultimately end up eating my words here, and Seth Rollins, who right now is one of the greatest superstars in the world right now, he's one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet, ultimately, I could end up eating my words, and Rollins could end up bringing Omos to the best match of his life. He even said it on Raw. I'm going to bring you to the best match of your life. For all we know, he could do it. For all we know, he could do it. He's Seth Rollins. But at the end of the day, the fact that there was no logic behind this proves to me that Vince McMahon is back, and he's going to be back doing shit for the hell of it because he wants to. Doing shit for the hell of it because he wants to. He just does shit because it entertains him. He just does shit because, yeah, I want to do it because, oh yeah, Omos and Seth Rollins. Man, that is such good shit. Oh, what's the logic? Oh, there is no logic. Just book the match, pal. Stupid. Fucking stupid. No logic whatsoever. And yet there's still people. Well, Vince McMahon is not in charge anymore. Yeah, no, she wasn't going to be in charge. This is Triple H. You can't always blame Vince McMahon for everything. Fucking morons with 5 teeth that are missing. 5 teeth that are missing. Beards down to here with pieces of food in them. Talking about how Triple H is still in charge. Fucking retards, everybody. Vince is back. If you needed any more indication, this is the indication. Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported that as of now, there are no current plans to use Lita moving forward. If you guys remember, Lita was taken out on Monday Night Raw because of Trish Stratus. And Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch, they defended the women's tag team titles, ultimately losing them to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And right now, there are no current plans to use Lita moving forward. However, it would be wise to expect her back when the Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus storyline picks up. I'm still wondering why exactly you put the tag team titles on Lita and Becky if you weren't going to have them drop it to another tag team and you had to insert Trish Stratus into this. Now Trish Stratus is back on television. She's taking up a spot from a woman that should be in the spotlight. She's taking up time from Candice LeRae and Mia Yim and Piper Niven and Tegan Nox. Where the fuck is Tegan Nox? I haven't seen Tegan Nox in God knows how many fucking months. Where is she? Where the fuck is she? I don't care for Lita. Lita's in the same boat as Trish Stratus. Unless she is in my bed wearing nothing, I don't care to see Lita. I don't care to see Lita. I do not want Lita at all on my TV. No. Lita and Trish will do more harm for television than good. They will not bring in new eyes. Monday Night Raw is still averaging a 1.7, 1.8 rating on a weekly basis. They'll bring new eyes, pal. Fucking ridiculous. How am I coming in? Is my mic coming in good? I don't know. It just crossed my mind. Is my mic coming in good? Let me know in the chat. Speaking of Impact Wrestling, I mentioned that Trinity, she joined Impact Wrestling. I got word on a certain female performer leaving Impact Wrestling. Fightful reported that Jordynne Grace and her Impact Wrestling contract could be up soon. They followed up on their report from back in March, stating that her deal could be up any day now. Now, I am not a fan of Jordynne Grace. I think that Jordynne Grace is nothing but a drama starter. I think that Jordynne Grace is very overrated. She can be intense when she wants to be, and she's a decent wrestler, but at the end of the day, she seems like the most problematic individual in the IWC in terms of being a women's wrestler. The only individual more problematic than her is Tessa Blanchard, for obvious reasons, of course. Seems as though Jordynne Grace is as fucking woke as woke can be. It's actually quite pathetic, and it really turns me off to Jordynne Grace. But for those of you that have been wondering, Jordynne Grace and her Impact Wrestling contract could be up soon. I really don't give a shit where she goes because I am not a fan of her whatsoever. Ringside News. Ringside News reached out to WWE to confirm Vince McMahon's involvement in WWE television this week. They stated that he was not at Raw and SmackDown, but again, it was confirmed by a tenured member of the team that Vince McMahon had been sharing his thoughts regarding the shows. It was noted what changed about the shows, and it's obvious that he still has a say in the manner. Once again, as I have been stating numerous amounts of fucking times, Vince is back in charge. He's been back in charge since the beginning of the year. All this shit is just now coming to light, but in reality, all you need to do is go back and rewatch what happened back at the Royal Rumble. Outside of the main event and what happened in the main event, that show was a Vince McMahon produced show right down to the very last letter. The Royal Rumble easily will go down as the worst pay-per-view of the year. That was not a good show at all. Lackluster, lame, no excitement, no wow factor. Everything was just blah. Just blah. Now he has a say in the manner. Now he has an actual say in the manner on what's going on television. It doesn't matter whether it's via Zoom or Skype or there physically. Vince McMahon, now that he's back in charge, he will be having a say in the manner with every single show. Or at least SmackDown going forward. We're going to be talking more about that when we get to the WWE draft because it is clear as day that Vince McMahon is going to be in charge of SmackDown because he's got his prized pupil, Roman Reigns, on SmackDown now. Triple H seems to be taking control of Monday Night Raw as there is a new World Heavyweight Championship. That's going to be crowned on Monday Night Raw at Night of Champions. And we will be discussing everything regarding the World Championship sooner rather than later because holy shit, I've been waiting all week to get this shit out. Moving on here, let's actually talk about some positive news. Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics, he firmly reported that he believes that AEW will most likely get their television deal renewed with Warner Brothers Discovery when it expires in the coming months. It is being said that Warner Brothers Discovery seems to be very happy with AEW's performance and ratings. It is also shown that Warner Brothers is very committed to launching new streaming shows that will feature more AEW content. He even estimated that AEW will receive a significant increase in its annual revenue from $45 million to right around $70 million, which is based on the growth from its massive fan base and constant demand for its product. And you know what? I could not be happier to hear about this. Could not be happier. And if this comes true, if Brandon Thurston, who has been very, very credible when it comes to getting everyone the information on ticket sales and how many seats throughout all these shows are sold out, when it comes to Brandon Thurston and when it comes to all sorts of analytical and statistical information, Brandon Thurston is your guy. Brandon Thurston, I don't know him personally, but he has been very, very credible as of lately. So if he is telling me that AEW is going to get their deal renewed, I absolutely believe him. And not only that, it shows on television because they just added AEW All Access. And if they're adding AEW Collision, they're going to Wembley Stadium. If Wembley Stadium does great numbers and Wembley Stadium really knocks it out of the park, I'm telling you, I honestly do believe that we could very well see Warner Brothers as the home of AEW for the next decade plus. They got the rights deals coming up right now, and if they get this revenue increase, which I do believe that they will, This is just further going to shut up every single individual that constantly just hates on AEW for no reason. If they get their rights deal renewed, their revenue will increase, and they pack Wembley Stadium. There's already over 60,000 signups. It's already over 60,000 signups. So let me tell you, if there are already over 60,000 signups for a 90,000 seat stadium, for argument's sake, let's say every single one of those seats are filled. Those 60,000 seats are filled. That is 2/3 of the entire stadium filled out within a week. And if they fill that out within a week, when tickets really go on sale in a couple more days, I am telling you right now, they could very well sell out the entire fucking stadium. Sell out the entire fucking stadium. And I hope they do. They sell out the stadium. They get their rights deal renewed. I'm pretty sure we're going to have some more fucking ridiculous people trying to move the goalpost. But at the end of the day, it's once again going to make every single individual that hates on AEW look like a fucking retard. And that's what I love about this the most. That's what I love about this the most. AEW has been building a reputation on shutting people up. Now, they got a long way to go in terms of the creative department. Now, they're not perfect. They got some kinks that they need to work out. They need to learn how to manage their time a little bit better. Tony Khan needs to learn how to tell long-term stories just a little bit better. He's got some shit that he needs to work on to improve the shows. But overall, I think it's safe to say that if they get their TV rights deal renewed with an increase in revenue, then at the end of the day, it just shows everyone that AEW is not going anywhere. All these people that saying, oh, AEW's dying, AEW's dying, AEW's dying. The more that they say this, the more that they're going to end up looking like fucking idiots. And everything's ultimately going to fall on deaf ears. At the end of the day, it's time that a lot of people understand AEW is an alternative. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be around for a long, long, long time. And it's about time that people start understanding. CM Punk. The community was set into a fucking uproar on Monday because multiple sources, they reported that CM Punk was backstage at Monday Night Raw. They even showed a video of CM Punk in the parking lot with Tamina Snuka. Monday Night Raw was in Chicago, and CM Punk decided to take a little trip backstage for a bit. He ran into The Miz, and PW Insider reportedly stated that Punk was backstage for a bit in an attempt to clear any heat that he had with Triple H before he was asked to leave. Now, initially when I saw this, I was just thinking to myself, you know what? I think that Phil Brooks is just trolling. He's just trolling. He doesn't give a shit. He just wanted to gain some traction and spark up an uproar before he inevitably makes his return in June at Collision in the United Center. But at the end of the day, Punk wanted to clear up any heat that he had with Triple H before he was asked to leave. Now, when I heard that, I thought to myself, you know what? That's actually very professional. It's very professional of him. It's very respectable. It's very admirable of him that he wants to go out of his way to clear up some heat that he had with people back in the day, people that have been really just pulling his name through the mud. And in the end, in some cases, they were right about him. Now, it's kind of stupid that he's doing it here. I'm wondering why the fuck is he not doing that with the Elite and the Young Bucks? Why exactly do we need CM Punk separated from the fucking roster and we need a brand split just for one fucking man? Because everyone else on the roster is a bunch of fucking pussies because they don't want to fucking work with him. But at the end of the day, the brand split could end up doing AEW good. But in the end, if Punk was backstage to just clear up some shit with Triple H, and just kind of ease the tensions, you know what? I respect that. And I can't shit on him for that. It definitely shows maturity. Now, will he show the same maturity when he gets back to AEW? That is yet to be seen. I'd like to hope. I'd like to hope that he does show the same level of maturity with AEW like he did here. I'd like to hope that he does. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But look, I will give him credit. That was very respectable of him. That was very, very admirable of him. I'm not going to shit on CM Punk. I'll tell you what I will shit on. WWE. I'm going to shit on WWE because of their utter piss-poor treatment of the grizzled young veterans. This is Zach Gibson and James Drake. Rip Fowler, a.k.a. Zach Gibson, he tweeted out that WWE denied him and James Drake their release, and it honestly reminded me of what happened with FTR. He stated that in the tweet that they will be free agents in October 15th, if I'm not mistaken. And you know what? I could not be happier for Rip Fowler and Jagger Reed or James Drake and Zach Gibson. Could not be happier for them that they are taking a stand. They're taking a stand, and they said, we want out, and we will not be renewing our contracts when we get to the month of October. It is unbelievable how piss poor this team has been treated. If Vince McMahon never infiltrated NXT and destroyed it, man, can you imagine what they would have been? If they were called up to the main roster under Triple H, can you imagine what they would have been? Can you honestly imagine what they would have been? That shit just pisses me the fuck off. Really, it does. The more that I think about it, the more I'm trying to figure out why the fuck did they not win the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic back in 2021? Why did they not win the NXT Tag Team Championships before Vince McMahon fucking destroyed NXT? Why? Why? Then they gave them shitty new names. They put them with Joe Gacy and Ava Raine in this terrible group known as Schism. At this rate, Joe Gacy and Ava Raine, they are dead in the water. If not already, they are incredibly dead in the fucking water. Dead. Ridiculous. It is ridiculous that I have to sit here and I'm literally complaining about two guys who should have easily been the UK version of FTR, Now, they're getting set to exit the company when their contracts are up in October, and WWE denied them their release because they don't want them to go elsewhere. Guess what? They're going to go elsewhere, and they're going to fucking kill it. And yes, they would work great in AEW because AEW, they need to build up the tag team division because the tag team division right now, it is sorely lacking. It really is. The tag team division is sorely lacking, and we actually have a lot of people. That are actually branching off into the trios division. It's actually quite sad that they've kind of lacked a little bit in the tag team department, and they've expanded into the trios department. I don't know. I don't know if I really like that. But the Grizzled Young Veterans would work great. They would work phenomenally in AEW, whether they want to put them in Ring of Honor or whether they want to put them in AEW. And I wish them nothing but the best. I may as well talk about this because this recently just came about. Vince McMahon has been sued again. Vince McMahon has been sued again with claims of racial insensitivity towards numerous amounts of people, including two black female writers on the creative writing team. Now, I'm going to see if I could find it. Right here. Being sued over racist scripts is Vince McMahon. A new report from Bloomberg Law indicates that WWE and Vince are being sued again. The nature of the lawsuit relates to racist script content that a black writer named Brittany Abrahams opposed to. The report states World Wrestling Entertainment Incorporated, Vince McMahon, and other executives allegedly discriminated and retaliated against a black female writer for objecting an offensively racist and stereotypical jargon used in the scripts of black wrestlers, including Bianca Belair and Apollo Crews. According to a new lawsuit, she was allegedly subject to a number of racist pitched after complaining on a Slack thread that Vince and his daughter Stephanie were included on. Other writers suggested a black male wrestler should dress in drag only when a white writer noted that doing so could perpetrate harmful stereotypes that would offend viewers. Was the pitch scrapped? Now, apparently, this was all in line with Reggie and how he was teaming with Carmella. This was about 2 years ago when Sasha Banks was feuding with Carmella over the SmackDown Women's Championship, and Reginald, or Reggie, was the butler or the wine guy for Carmella, however you want to look at Reggie in that time. And he was tag teaming with Carmella, or he was Carmella's manager at the time. They wanted him to dress up in drag and tag team alongside Carmella. Now, Brittany Abrams, apparently, she objected to this. She also objected to Ryan Callahan, who was another executive producer and another executive president and lead writer. She objected to him using a stereotypical closing phrase for a Bianca Belair, and Bianca said that she did not want to say it. Ryan Callahan essentially threw Brittany Abrams to the wolves, and she was pretty much put in a position where she was going to look bad. I continue on here by stating, and I quote, on another occasion, a writer allegedly proposed that a Muslim wrestler's secret in a script be that he was behind the 9/11 attacks. Abrams and other writers complained about the comments, to which Vice President Christine Lubrano allegedly responded, wacky things are said in the writer's room all the time, and I know, but look at the waves we're making in the company. 4 years ago, no women worked on the writer's team. Abrahams continued to oppose racist and sexist pitches. She said that she was fired in retaliation in April of 2022. WWE fired her for taking with her a WrestleMania 38 braided chair, but the practice was allegedly a common practice that white male writers weren't punished for. End quote. To add on top of this, there was even a pitch that Shane Thorne, aka Slapjack, if you guys remember from Retribution, he was set to have a hunting gimmick where he would hunt down Reggie, put him in cages, and then Reggie would end up ultimately escaping, and Shane Thorne would go and hunt him again. So essentially, they wanted to make Shane Thorne into, oh, crikey, that's the biggest crook I ever seen. Now, do I think that what was done here and what was said here was done to be intentionally racially insensitive? Do I think that it was intentionally done to be racist? No. No, I don't think that there was ever any intent to be racially insensitive or racially hateful whatsoever. I don't believe that at all. Matter of fact, you know how I feel about that. I've been saying it all the time that racism's not prominent anymore, and all this shit has just been pushed upon everyone by the liberal fucking media, and it needs to fucking go away. It's just ridiculous. Everyone is canceled for everything now. That's what this lawsuit is coming off to me. It honestly feels like they're just pulling shit and trying to manipulate shit just to get Vince out of office. Now listen, for me, I always say that racism isn't prominent and the liberal media has brainwashed everyone, which is fucking true. I mean, if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out of the chat. But at the end of the fucking day, if you're trying to get Vince McMahon out, then by all means, yeah, use racism. Get him out. Just get him the fuck out. I don't care. Do I think it's going to go anywhere? No. Because I truthfully do not believe that there was any intent to be racially insensitive, nor was there any intent to be racially hateful. Do I think that this exposed Vince McMahon for being a sick, demented freak? Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. I don't think there was any intent to be racist at all, but there was abso-fucking-lutely the exposure of Vince McMahon and many other people backstage being sick, demented freaks. They're trying to force something on Bianca Belair that she does not want to say just because, yeah, we think it would be great. If she doesn't want to say it, then write out something new. If she does not want to say it, then give her something else to say. It just further exposed to me that the creative writing team is writing for an audience of one, and that is Vince McMahon. They are not writing for the millions of fans of WWE watching around the world. They are writing for one man and one man only. They are writing to try and make Vince McMahon laugh. They are writing to entertain Vince McMahon. And apparently Ryan Callahan, he was making all of these derogatory comments, or not derogatory comments, saying some shit to Abrahams in a derogatory tone or just being sarcastic. Hey, she's the lead writer now. She could do whatever she wants. Just kind of being sarcastic there. Oh, why don't you ask Miss Abrahams? She's the lead writer now, so you don't need me for anything, right, Miss Abrahams? Something like that. This is just the vibe that Vince McMahon has brought. I don't think anyone was trying to be insensitive to anyone, but this is just the sick, demented, just piss poor culture that Vince McMahon has created backstage. If anything, I don't find anything racist about what's going on with Reggie dressing up in drag or Shane Thorne trying to hunt down Reggie. I don't find that to be racist at all. I just find that to be fucking terrible writing. If anything, they should be sued for the terrible fucking writing that they've been putting out. The thing that I'm most offended by is the fact that why would anyone think that a single individual would want to see that shit on television? How is that good television? Everyone in WWE wants to preach about a women's revolution. How is it good television to have Reggie, a dude, dress up in drag and tag team to fight the ladies? It's fucking ridiculous. That's like that fucking transvestite Leah Thomas going and competing against women's swimmers. Meanwhile, Leah Thomas is a fucking dude. Please, do not even try me on that. You preach about a women's revolution, meanwhile you're having a man dress up in drag, or that's even a thought in the creative boardroom. Wacky things are said all the time, they said. Yeah, but that shit right there is just beyond ridiculous. Shane Thorne hunting Reggie, putting him in cages, and then Reggie escaping. Who the fuck would want? How does anyone think that's good television? That's the shit that people make fun of wrestling for. And then apparently, there was supposed to be a love triangle with Mansoor, or Mansoor, as he's called now, Angel Garza, and Aaliyah, and apparently Mansoor was going to have a secret that he was behind the 9/11 attacks. I don't understand why anyone would even think that is remotely entertaining. You're trying to make light of the biggest terrorist attack in history. One thing that will go down as the biggest tragedy in American history, and they have an individual in Zelina Vega on their roster whose father passed away in the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and you're trying to make fun of that, you're trying to make light of that on your fucking television show? I don't understand how that is good television at all. I don't. The whole racism argument is nothing more than a means to try and slip the lawsuit in, because realistically, they can't sue for terrible writing. Terrible writing is just terrible writing. They can't sue for terrible writing, so they needed something. I don't believe there was any racial insensitivity intended. All I know is that Vince McMahon is a sick, demented fuck. He should not be running a wrestling promotion, and anyone that pitches these ideas should not be anywhere near the creative boardroom, should be nowhere near a CEO position. That shit right there is all the reasons why people make fun of professional wrestling. That right there, and everything that Vince just stated right there that he wanted to do, and Ryan Callahan and all these other fucking idiots, they killed professional wrestling with this whole sports entertainment garbage. Completely fucking destroyed it. That's why AEW has been fighting such an uphill battle. They've been fighting an uphill battle since the beginning. Because WWE just created such a bad vibe around professional wrestling. So much so that you go up to a non-wrestling fan and they will say, "Oh, you still watch that shit? You know it's fake, right?" Wrestling just automatically has a bad vibe around it because of the shitty sports entertainment facade that Vince McMahon has just forced onto everyone. And this is part of that. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't even believe that I had to sit here and talk about that. Why is that even a thing? Those are your news, rumors, and reports. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. We are going to get into the weekly show reviews. We're going to talk about Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, and Rampage. Thank you guys for sticking by me. You guys have been great all stream long. And we are going to get straight into the Monday Night Raw review right over here in just a little bit. So let me take a sip of my water. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes kicked off Monday Night Raw. Crowd singing his song as loud as ever. And you know something? The more that I hear the crowd singing Cody Rhodes' theme song, the more that I ask, why is it that he didn't win the World Championship against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? So somehow there are people that are still trying to justify Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania was the right decision. I mean, after hearing the reactions like that, I'm still trying to comprehend that. So with all of these crowd reactions, you're telling me that he should not have been given the World Championship at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, I am failing to understand how you can be so retarded. Cody goes, what do you want to talk about? Talk about the WWE draft. Talk about slaying the beast Brock Lesnar, who is the most decorated combat sports athlete of all time. It's quite ironic because he waited till my back was turned to jump me from behind. A cowardly attack. He then took his suit off and showed the scar from his surgery. Talked about when he competed with a torn pec inside Hell in a Cell, and he was in the very arena that they were in for Raw, which was the Allstate Arena in Chicago. He goes, I haven't watched the match back. Lesnar, if you're watching, pick a spot. Put another scar on me. I defeated one of the very best inside Hell in a Cell. I didn't do anything that night. I had a sold-out arena prop me up and carry me to the finish line. I wanted to tell you, thank you guys very much." So he thanked the Chicago crowd. All of a sudden, Finn Balor came out. I don't know why. Balor then said, "We all got scars, Nate. I saw what happened at WrestleMania, and you got screwed. I know how you feel. Why did you get screwed? Because nobody was there to have your back. No one was there to have his back. So you're telling me that what we saw at WrestleMania with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens coming out to help Cody Rhodes, delivering a stunner and a haluva kick to Roman Reigns before Cody Rhodes made the cover and nearly won the championship, you're telling me that that was all in everyone's imagination. That was a figment of our imagination. That never happened, right? Some Men in Black shit. Never happened. Click. Never happened." Very, very stupid line by Balor right there. So he goes, "You trusted the wrong man. You need to be smarter. This is a match that you can't win. Not on your own." Cody stopped him. He said, "Lesnar is the only thing I'm focused on. So whatever you're selling, I'm not buying it." Finn said, "I know, you know, and they know that Cody Rhodes in the Judgment Day would be unstoppable. You made a mistake at WrestleMania. Don't make the mistake at Backlash. Let us have your back." Cody said, "What are you guys saying to Finn?" The crowd was chanting, "You suck," at Finn. Cody declined the offer, and Finn said, "You're either with or against the Judgment Day. Watch your back, because I'll slap the bleach out of your head." Cody said, "You know why I'm smiling? I'm smiling because I think you're of the impression that I'm not medically cleared. But a few hours ago, I was cleared. So how about you and me one-on-one here tonight?" I don't understand why this was even done. I really don't understand why this was even done. I don't understand why we needed Finn to come out when he has nothing to do with Cody Rhodes. Finn has nothing to do with Cody Rhodes. There's nothing that cross-correlates Cody with the Judgment Day. And this was done pretty much to fill 20 minutes of a Monday Night Raw with no rhyme or reason whatsoever, and just trying to coast through Monday Night Raw because they had the draft on SmackDown, which was last night. No rhyme or reason whatsoever. Just a typical run-of-the-mill 20-minute segment made to make a match later on in the night. No sense whatsoever. None. We had the Latino World Order. They took on the Bloodline. This is Solo Sikoa and the Usos, and this was a very, very fun match right here. Very fun match between these two factions, and if anything, what this match did, this match told me that these two factions should receive a proper feud going into the spring and summer months. And if you want to, I know Roman Reigns, he's probably going to be holding that title until SummerSlam, to which I hope Cody Rhodes is going to beat him, but I don't have any faith. And we're going to talk about why I don't have faith in a little bit. But if anything, you could absolutely do a lot of matches with the Latino World Order and the Bloodline. Maybe you could do a Santos Escobar and a Solo Sikoa. Maybe you can do another match with Rey Mysterio and Roman Reigns. I think that would be great. But if anything, a proper feud between these two factions would be a great idea. This was a very fun match. So Cruz and Joaquin Wilde, they took over with double topes onto the Usos. Suicide dive by Escobar on Solo. Coming back from commercial, Wilde hit a tornado DDT on Solo. He tagged in Escobar, some flying forearms on Jimmy, an uppercut, a V-trigger, Enziguri, and a diving crossbody for a 2. We had a tag to Cruz del Toro, drop kick to Jimmy, a beautiful Phoenix splash off the top, 4-2. Jey Uso saved it. Escobar was then sent into the post. Uranagi by Solo to Wild on the apron. Cruz del Toro went up for the coast-to-coast. Solo, out of nowhere, hit the Samoan spike, tagged to Jey, 1D, and the Bloodline get the win. And afterwards, Jimmy promised a win, and they dedicated their win on Friday to Roman Reigns. Very fun match. A very fun match, and Solo continues to look great. I'm loving what they're doing with Solo. The Usos and the Latino World Order, they worked very well together. All around, a very fun match. A very fun match. And once again, you notice how up until last night, the Usos did not lose a match. The Usos were being built up to lose on SmackDown, and now they're going to be built up to lose at Backlash 2 to further the storyline of Roman Reigns. Solo Sikoa looks like he's getting ready to fucking spike them at any time. He's getting ready to deliver the fucking Samoan spike at any fucking moment now. And when he does, that's going to be the next layer to the story. Sami Zayn, he tried to meet up with Jey Uso in the back, and he tried to talk to him that putting Roman's name on the line puts extra pressure on you. What's going to happen when you guys come up short? Jey asked, "Why do you care, Sami?" Sami asked, "I feel bad." Jey said, "Don't feel bad, Us. We're going to take back our titles. You made your choice, and like it or not, so have I. I made my choice." So once again, more layers trying to be added onto this storyline, and Roman Reigns and his name being added to the match, putting extra pressure on the Usos. Sami Zayn telling him the truth. Zayn is fucking telling him the truth. Street Profits, they took on Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. I wonder where Cedric and Shelton are going to be within the next 3 months. Probably released. Nothing new here. A nothing match. A nothing victory. Street Profits get the win, and that was it. Triple H. Triple H came out for his major announcement. Triple H came out for his major announcement that was said to rock the foundation of WWE. So the crowd loving him. He talked about his matches in Chicago against John Cena. He talked about Roman Reigns, who will reach 1,000 days as champion. He said that Roman Reigns reached a deal where he didn't have to defend his title as frequent. And he said, "I talked about the draft shaking things up to his core. When Roman Reigns will be drafted, he will take the undisputed Universal Championship with him, and he will stay there to whatever brand he's drafted to." We saw that he was drafted to SmackDown. He said, "On May 27th, we will crown a new world champion." And he unveiled the new World Heavyweight Championship. It looks great. IWGP United States Championship vibes, actually. It looks very similar to the IWGP United States Championship. And this championship, he said, will be defended anytime, anywhere, all over the world. I got a lot to say about this shit. I really do. First of all, title looks gorgeous. The title looks gorgeous. It's different. It distinguishes itself from the World Heavyweight Championship that Roman is holding. It distinguishes itself from the WWE Undisputed Universal title. I like that. Title looks gorgeous, number one. Number two, I appreciate the fact, and I'm not going to discredit Triple H here, I appreciate the fact that they are living up to the name of a brand split. I appreciate the fact that they're living up to the name of a brand split because at the end of the day, if we have people floating from one show to the next, then you can't really call it a brand split. So I appreciate the fact that the World Heavyweight Championship is being instituted to Monday Night Raw, we know now, because Roman got drafted to SmackDown. I appreciate that, and I appreciate that they're giving us a true incarnation of a brand split. However, that's where the positives end. That's where the positives end. First of all, I do not like the IWC. I cannot stand the IWC. I hate 99% of the people that are in the community. If I like you, it is a rarity. If I like you, that is probably the biggest accomplishment that you will ever receive in your life. If I like you, then you should hold that accomplishment high, because I do not like the majority of people. I do not like the IWC at all. I've said it time and time again. The IWC is nothing more than a bunch of half-witted, brainless zombies who have the IQ of the shit that my dog took on my neighbor's lawn the other day. I have no respect for anyone. I don't. Minus myself and the people that are associated with me, like the people in this chat. But I cannot tell you how proud I was. I was scrolling up and down my Twitter timeline, and all I saw was the IWC united, at least the majority of them, the IWC united in the fact that they were stating that the World Heavyweight title was nothing more than a consolation prize. That's exactly what it is. I hate the IWC. I fucking damn everyone every single day. I have no respect for humanity. But IWC, for one night only, I fucking love you. I love you. The IWC came together stating that it was nothing more than a consolation prize. And at the end of the day, that is exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. It is nothing more than a consolation prize. It's nothing more than a consolation prize because, hey, nobody can beat Roman, so we're going to give you this championship, and you guys can fight over this championship. The title is a de facto number 2. The title is a de facto number 2. There is no one on the roster that is even close to Roman Reigns. So this championship automatically positioned under Roman Reigns, and whoever wins this championship is automatically going to feel less than Roman Reigns. You essentially took Roman Reigns, and this was the problem that Vince had, put all your eggs in one basket, did Vince, built up Roman Reigns to be an unstoppable monster, and they built up nobody else around him that would be able to stand face to face with him and look just as credible. Nobody. It's Roman Reigns, and then there's everybody else. They completely destroyed the roster and neglected everyone else to build up Roman Reigns, and that is the problem that Vince had from the beginning. The concept of building up one man and having one man as the figurehead, that shit, it's dead. That concept is dead. Nowadays, it's all about the whole show as a whole. It's not just about one man. It's about everyone. It's about the top stars to the mid-card, to the tag team, to the women's division. There is no one in AEW that you can say, yeah, definitely, face of the company. No. Everyone has a role, and there are multiple people positioned in multiple roles. You can't have one man above everyone else, because then that one man will ultimately be on an island unto himself, no pun intended, and no one else will be able to stand toe-to-toe with them and look credible. And that's exactly what they had with Roman. Now, by introducing this championship, you have just made the winner of this championship look like a consolation prize winner because, hey, you couldn't be Roman, so you get this championship. Here's your prize for coming up number 2. Second reason, I appreciate the fact that they're doing a brand split, but I cannot fucking stand the brand split. I can't. I've been stating this for God knows how long now. The brand split needs to die. This draft, it's not going to do anything because even with the shakeups, even with everything that WWE has put forth, and even with the NXT call-ups and all this other shit, the roster is not deep enough for it. Back in 2016, the roster was perfect for it. But ever since 2020, they fired how many fucking people? The people that they fired, you could have easily, with the people that they fired, you could have made a separate wrestling promotion on its own with the people that they fired. Easily. Could have made a separate entire wrestling company with the people that they fired. How many people? They fired over 100 wrestlers in 2020. Then they fired some more wrestlers in 2021. How many fucking spurs of releases did they have in 2021? They had at least 4 scenarios, at least 4 fucking release spurs in 2021 where they released Karrion Kross and Buddy Matthews, Braun Strowman, Malachi Black, and Keith Lee, and Bobby Fish, and fucking Mercedes Martinez, and Bronson Reed. How many fucking people did they fucking release back in 2021? They released all these people and gutted their entire fucking roster to a point where their roster was nothing more than skin and bones. We were seeing the same matches every single week with the same talent, the same storylines every single week with absolutely no rhyme or reason and no advancement. AEW's roster, they are cut out for a brand split because they have just such an overabundance of talent. Now that they're getting more TV time, splitting the roster could very well create more organization for Tony Khan. But you take a look at the roster for WWE right now, even with the returns, there's not enough people for a roster brand split. There's not. You could make all the fucking excuses under the sun all you want. The roster is not cut out for a brand split. AEW has more talent than WWE. And with NXT as a part of the draft, here's something that's a completely separate problem unto itself. With the NXT talent that's being called up, you already got Indy Hartwell, you got Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And according to a report from Sean Ross Sapp, Zoe Stark and JD McDonough also got called up. They got drafted to Raw. They both got drafted to Raw. I think they're going to be great on Monday Night Raw. But at the end of the day, who do you have in NXT that's going to replace the stars that you are calling up? The stars that you're calling up right now are essentially the best acts on the show. Do you have an idea of who's going to slot in and replace them? With Triple H, and when he was running NXT Black and Gold, if a slew of superstars got called up, he always had a replacement for them. In 2018, you had Sanity, you had the Authors of Pain, you had Andrade, you had Ember Moon. All of those individuals got called up. Meanwhile, you take a look at the roster now. Who do you have that's going to replace these superstars from NXT that they're calling up right now? Back then, when all those stars got called up, Triple H had the Undisputed Era to replace Sanity. You had fucking Velveteen Dream and Ricochet and Aleister Black. They replaced Andrade. You had Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, and Kairi Sane, and Candice LeRae. They replaced Ember Moon. You had all this talent, an overabundance of talent. You had Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch and the Street Profits. They slotted in, and they replaced Sanity and the Authors of Pain. You had a whole slew of talent lined up like a conveyor belt to replace the talent that's being taken off. Yeah, it's like when you stock up items at a store, when one item gets taken down, like if you're stocking up cans of soup at the supermarket, you take one can of soup down, there's another can of soup right behind it. That way you can put right in front and it'll look nice and neat, like nothing ever changed. Does NXT have that? No. Who the fuck are you going to replace Zoe Stark with? Cora Jade? Cora Jade. You're going to replace Zoe Stark with a Cora Jade. Who the fuck are you going to replace JD McDonough with? Hank Walker? Yeah, that'll go over well. Another thing. Roman Reigns held both championships. Vince McMahon recklessly gave Roman both titles with no rhyme or reason and no plans whatsoever. If you did not have an intention to end the brand split at WrestleMania 38, why did you give Roman both championships? Why did you combine them into one championship if you did not have a full intent on completely eradicating the brand split? Night one after WrestleMania on Monday Night Raw, right after Mania, Adam Pearce or Vince McMahon or someone should have came out and said, yeah, brand split's over, one world champion, and everyone can go on both shows. Should have done it the night after WrestleMania, but they didn't do it. Brand split didn't end, and now here we go with the new world championship. At least, if they would have kept both titles separate, at least you would have already had a world champion in your grasp, and you could have easily have made do with the WWE Championship, and you could have given other people certain world championship reigns outside of Roman Reigns. While Roman did his thing with the Universal Championship, you could have done hell all with the WWE Championship. But no, let's give Roman 2 championships with absolutely no rhyme or reason to end the brand split. You know what needs to be done? WWE needs to grow a pair of fucking balls, stand up to Fox, stand up to USA, and say, listen, these 2 split rosters, it ain't working. If you both want the best possible product with the best possible ratings and the highest possible interest in the WWE product, so that way your shows that we're presenting on your channel, Raw and SmackDown, will get the highest possible ratings and everyone will be happy, there needs to be one universal roster. But WWE will never do that. They will bend over and they'll take it up the ass from USA and Fox. Should not even be a brand split. And if you weren't going to end the brand split, you shouldn't have put 2 titles on Roman Reigns. Shouldn't have put them on Roman Reigns. Not only that, the introduction of this championship now takes away from Roman Reigns. It now takes away from Roman Reigns. It now makes Roman's reign look meaningless, and it makes the biggest WrestleMania match of all time that they hyped it up as the biggest WrestleMania match of all time. They hyped it up as that for WrestleMania 38 with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Now it makes it feel meaningless because now you just introduced a new world championship. Yeah, great booking right there. Great booking. The only thing that this did, you want to know what this did? The introduction of the World Heavyweight Championship, all it did was validate every single complaint, every single moment that I bitched and I moaned, and every single word that I said every single time I came on here after WrestleMania. Every single time I came here, I sat in this chair and I said that Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania was the wrong decision. And I had to sit on my ass and I had to look at my phone and scroll through my Twitter timeline and my fucking Facebook timeline. I had to scroll through my timeline and I had to look at these 50-year-old fucking dinosaurs that want to tout about how long they've been in the business. I had to listen to fucking Road Dogg, the Road Dogg Jesse James, more like the retard Jesse James. I had to listen to fucking Road Dogg. I had to listen to fucking Bubba Ray Dudley, that fucking retard Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, whatever you want to call him. I had to listen to all these fucking morons, all of these WWE dick riders, the people that just want to suck the cock of WWE. They just want to jump on WWE. They want to get on top and they want to bounce on top of WWE's dick like a fucking whore on a Friday night. I had to listen to them come up with every fucking excuse in the book as to why Roman Reigns beating Cody Rhodes was the right decision. Oh, because it's good business. Cody needed adversity or a struggle. All these fucking nonsensical, moronic statements and arguments that had no bearing on the fact that Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, they were never going to duplicate what they did. They missed a huge moment. The stars were aligned. And at the end of the day, Roman Reigns has done all that he could. He's done all that he could with the World Championship, and there was nowhere left for him to go. All the World Heavyweight Championship did was validate every single complaint that I said regarding Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania. And not only that, you know what I find hilarious? I find it fucking unbelievably comedic how all of these fucking morons, all of these fucking 30-year veterans that want to tout about their seniority in the wrestling industry and they want to gargle on WWE's balls. I find it so comedic how none of them are bringing any of this to light. All they're doing is sitting there with their fucking head in the clouds, tweeting away, asking the stereotypical question to their brain-dead audience, well, who do you guys think is going to be the new World Heavyweight Champion? That's all I see. All these fucking morons scrolling up and down their timeline. Who do you think is going to be the next World Heavyweight Champion? I want to know. Shout it off in the comments. None of them. Dead fucking silence. Dead fucking silence. So now, not only did WWE solidify this as a de facto number 2 championship, but now they've made Cody Rhodes' potential victory over Roman Reigns even less impactful than it was before. It doesn't matter how you look at it. It doesn't matter what excuse you want to come up with. At the end of the day, the World Championship is nothing more than a de facto consolation prize because no one can beat Roman. Now, Roman's title reign feels less than. The World Heavyweight Championship is a de facto number 2. Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania feels like it's even more of the wrong decision than it was now. And at the end of the day, if Cody Rhodes would have beaten Roman Reigns and then they would have introduced the World Heavyweight Championship, then both titles would have been on equal playing field. But now with Roman Reigns being in God mode, the God that he is, now the World Heavyweight title just feels like a de facto number 2. They did this entire process ass backwards. All this title did was prove that I was right and Cody should have beaten Roman at WrestleMania. Plain and simple. And yes, WWE could still tell the story of Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns. They could still tell the story of Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns. But here is why I am a little fearful of that. And we're going to talk about this. We may as well talk about this now. In the draft, Roman Reigns was drafted number 1. He went to SmackDown. Cody Rhodes was drafted number 2. He went to Raw. What happens now? Some people have been saying that Cody Rhodes is going to win Money in the Bank, cash in on Roman at SummerSlam, or maybe he'll even win the Royal Rumble. Now, I say fuck no to the Royal Rumble. I say fuck no to that. There is only one man that should be winning the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble, and that is Gunther. That is Gunther. Is the story going to be great for Cody? Yeah, it could be great. Story going to be epic? Yeah, it could be epic. Is the win going to be big? Yeah, sure. But will it be as impactful as it would have been at WrestleMania? No. And there is nothing that you can justify. There's nothing that you can say. There's nothing that you can expectorate to me that's going to make Roman losing at WrestleMania seem like the right decision. Nothing. It was the wrong decision. And this World Heavyweight Championship was an even bigger indicator of that. Now we have Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes drafted to separate brands. Some people are not worried. You're not worried. Some people are saying, oh, don't worry. I don't think WWE is that stupid to have Cody Rhodes win the World Heavyweight Championship. Are you new here? Are you new here? When did you start watching WWE? 5 weeks ago? Man, you must know a lot about the company, huh? Why don't we take a little trip down memory lane, shall we? WWE is not stupid enough. They're not that stupid. They're not going to give Cody Rhodes the World Heavyweight title. You do realize that this is the same company that had John Cena go over the Nexus at SummerSlam in 2010. The Nexus, might I add, was the hottest group in WWE at the time. The hottest group in WWE at that time. They were legitimately the cream of the crop. They were being built up to be this hot, new, fresh faction that was going to have careers that would surpass everyone. They were going to have these long, luxurious, fruitful careers, right? And John Cena beat them at SummerSlam along with Team WWE. John Cena, who might I add, late as late can be in the match. The match went about 30 minutes. John Cena was DDT'd on exposed concrete and still came back and tapped out Wade Barrett. But WWE's not stupid to put the World Heavyweight title on Cody Rhodes. Might I remind you that this is actually the same company that had referee John Cone's son, Nicholas, tag team with Braun Strowman at WrestleMania 34. WrestleMania of all shows. Nicholas, a referee's son, tag teamed with Braun Strowman at WrestleMania to defeat Claudio Castagnoli and Sheamus, two of the best pro wrestlers of the modern era, defeated the both of them to win the Raw Tag Team titles. Braun Strowman won the fucking tag team titles with a 10-year-old at WrestleMania 34. Same company that gave Jinder Mahal the WWE Championship, one of the worst wrestlers of the modern era, and had him go over Shinsuke Nakamura twice. Nakamura was never the same again after those two matches with Jinder. Nakamura was ruined. This is the same company that had Charlotte Flair break Asuka's undefeated streak. This is the same company that had Goldberg beat The Fiend at Super Showdown in 2020 before the pandemic. This is the same fucking company that built a WrestleMania women's title program with Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, and the main story of that entire feud was Alexa Bliss calling Nia Jax fat. That was the story. Same company that booked a women's title program between Alexa and Nia, and the story was Alexa Bliss was calling Nia Jax fat. Man, such riveting television. But yeah, WWE's not going to put the World Championship on Cody Rhodes and completely abandon the Roman Reigns storyline, right? I'm not saying that you got to be breaking televisions and throwing shit out of windows, but I mean, holy fuck, if you're not at least just a little concerned, if you're not even a little concerned that WWE would put the world title on Cody Rhodes and completely abandon the Roman Reigns storyline, you got another thing fucking coming. It's unbelievable how some people are just so quick to trust WWE. If WWE has done one thing, they have built a reputation on making the wrong creative decisions. The decision to have Cody Rhodes go to Raw is more concerning than ever. The only way that Cody Rhodes beats Roman Reigns is if he wins Money in the Bank and he cashes in at SummerSlam. Does Cody Rhodes really need Money in the Bank? Do we really need to go through that? Do we really need to waste Money in the Bank just to get the World Championship on Cody Rhodes when you could have gotten the world title on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania? Fucking ridiculous. If you don't think that there is a chance that Cody could win this world championship and completely fucking diminish everything that he's worked for and become a de facto number 2 to Roman Reigns, you got another thing coming. Do you know that there's actually some people that actually believe that Daniel Bryan going to the main event of WrestleMania 30 was the plan all along? That's how fucking retarded some people really are. I wasted almost 30 minutes talking about the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, who's going to win it? Who's going to win it? There's 3 people in mind. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins, because he has done everything that WWE has asked of him, and he has gotten himself hot, dating all the way back to his feud with Edge back in late 2021. So after all of that shit that he put forth, I think it's about time that he gets rewarded. Number 2, Finn Balor, because he has resurrected his career in the Judgment Day, and he has made himself into something of substance. And if Raw is going to be run by Triple H, like I believe it is, then at the end of the day, Finn Balor is going to be a top guy. Drew McIntyre, because at the end of the day, Drew McIntyre currently is not happy with the money that he's being offered, nor is he happy with the creative that he's being offered. So at the end of the day, could WWE potentially give Drew McIntyre the World Championship as, here you go, please don't leave and go to AEW and show up in Wembley Stadium? Gift. Possibly. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the World Heavyweight Championship at all. Not because it doesn't look good, but because at the end of the day, it's an unnecessary, meaningless title that did not need to be instituted now. And if you were going to institute it, then you should have instituted it after Cody Rhodes had already beaten Roman Reigns. They did this shit ass backwards. Damage Control took on Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez. This wasn't terrible. It was just a match that was on the card. It was there. Io Sky, she showcased a couple of her skills. Moonsaults onto Raquel and Liv Morgan. Very nicely done. We had Bianca Belair inevitably getting the win with a KOD. Don't understand why Bayley needed to take another loss to Bianca Belair. But regardless, Bayley gets pinned by Bianca Belair. And this is all leading towards Backlash, where we see Io Sky and Bianca, which I think is going to be a great fucking match. Austin Theory came out to address the WWE Universe. He goes, "Welcome to Austin Theory Live. This is the experience that everyone wants to be a part of, he says. 2 people specifically, Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley. Where's my respect? I didn't choose my opponents, but I look over and I see that new title. That should be around my waist. If there is any man who has carried this championship, this United States championship with respect, and any man that can carry that World Heavyweight Championship, it is me." Crowd chanted, "You suck." Theory said, "I pinned John Cena at WrestleMania." Bobby Lashley then came out, and Lashley said, "I don't have any problem with you other than you're holding my title. You're running your mouth. But when will you start stepping up? I know how tough you are, but I don't think you do. Are you lazy and you don't want to do the work, or are you scared?" said Bobby Lashley. You should be welcoming every opportunity because I would. You asked who requested the match? Well, I did. So Bobby Lashley said he requested the triple threat match with Bronson Reed and Austin Theory. Theory said, well, if you're so good at requesting matches, where was your WrestleMania match? I like that. I like that line. That was a nice little burn by Austin Theory. He goes, where was your WrestleMania match? So we get into a big brawl. Bronson Reed came out to join the fray. Bronson Reed and Theory ended up working together, and they took out Bobby. Reed then took out Theory and held up the United States Championship. Once again, I would not be opposed to Bronson Reed winning the United States Championship at Backlash whatsoever. Could he? I don't know. We'll see. Chad Gable and Mustafa Ali. Chad Gable, he was defeated by Ali with a mere roll-up. Who cares? That was it. It was nothing but a pity win for Ali because they were in Ali's hometown of Chicago. Jimmy Uso and Sami Zayn, they met up and they talked about what could happen on Friday. Jimmy said Kevin will turn on Sami Zayn, and when they lose, you don't worry about my brother anymore. You're going to have to worry about yours because your brother ain't going to be your brother when you lose. Cody Rhodes versus Finn Balor. Nothing crazy right here. Just two very good wrestlers going at it. Cody Rhodes mounted a comeback with a snap power slam and a disaster kick for a 2. Balor with a sling blade, super kick by Cody, and a Cody cutter for a 2. Coup de grace missed. Cody Rhodes hit a pedigree and hit a crossroads, and Cody beat Finn Balor en route to his match with Brock Lesnar at Backlash. Seth Rollins came out to address the WWE Universe. The crowd was singing his song. He eyed the new world championship, and before he even said a word, the crowd was chanting, "You deserve it." Rollins said, "Some of us still want to fight. We want to push the industry forward. It's about more than politics and part-timers. If we are going to crown a new world champion, I'll give you a guess who I'm putting my money on," said Seth Rollins. Omos and MVP then came out. MVP hyped up Rollins' accomplishments, but he said when Omos is finished, you might not have much of a future after Backlash. Rollins then said he undersold the Giant. He is the most powerful force in WWE. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's been beaten by Lesnar. He's been beaten by Lashley. He's been beaten by Strowman. He's not powerful at all. He's not. He goes, Seth Rollins is once in a generation because I made myself. You're once in a generation because you were born that way. At Backlash, I'm going to give you the match of your life. I'm going to make you famous, and we're going to have an arena full of people who will be singing my song. So that was it. I don't give a shit about the match. Seth Rollins is great. And I always appreciate Seth Rollins, but at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck about the match. Brock Lesnar returned to Monday Night Raw. And he is returning next week for the go-home show. Damian Priest versus Rey Mysterio. That was the main event. This was good as per usual. These two never really have a bad match, but at the end of the day, this was a setup, nothing more, nonetheless. Damian Priest, he used a steel chair, and he had a chair thrown in his face by Damian Priest. Priest then delivered South of Heaven, and Priest went for the announce table before Bad Bunny came out with a kendo stick. He went to the ring. Bad Bunny unloaded on Priest before Priest was sent running. Bad Bunny took the microphone and he said, "I'm not hosting Backlash anymore. Now I am going to Puerto Rico to kick your ass." Bad Bunny, Damian Priest in a street fight. Now, listen, I think Bad Bunny did great in his first go-around with WWE. I think Bad Bunny is great at what he does. But at the end of the day, I don't like the fact that this is simply a street fight between these two. Now, granted, it is kind of built between these two, but at the end of the day, where is Santos Escobar? Where's Rey Mysterio? Where's Finn? Where's Dominic? Why aren't they on the card? And why is it just Damian Priest and Bad Bunny? It kind of makes the entire Rey Mysterio Judgment Day feud kind of look bad. Because at the end of the day, Damian Priest, yeah, he chokeslammed Bad Bunny through a table, but Bad Bunny screwed over Dominic in his match with Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. So I don't really understand why it's just between these two. Nevertheless, it should be an entertaining match, but I don't like the fact that they shafted the Judgment Day and Legado del Fantasma. Typical run-of-the-mill Raw. It wasn't overly terrible, but it was just kind of a show that was there. We had a couple decent matches. We had the unveiling of a new world championship. That was pretty much it. Nothing more, nothing less. Dynamite. AEW Dynamite. We had Orange Cassidy and Bandito kick off the show for the AEW International Championship, and this was a great match to kick off the show. Matter of fact, this may have been my favorite match of the night. One thing that I want to point out about Bandito, for those of you that haven't been watching, Bandito is a very well-paced professional wrestler. Yes, he is a luchador, but he doesn't go hog wild like Vikingo does or Rey Fenix does. Bandito, he adjusts. He takes his time. He makes sure that everything that he does is flawlessly done, and he builds to the big spots. And that right there, that I can respect by Bandito. So props to Bandito. Bandito is a very well-rounded professional wrestler. So we had some nice back and forth early on. Bandito dropped Cassidy on the barricade. Bandito was in control. Stretch muffler by Bandito. Tope con Hiro connects. Beautifully done. Coming back from commercial, Bandito with a stalling suplex. Back and forth strikes by both men. Crossbody by Cassidy. Meishinuku driver for a 2. Tope suicida by Cassidy. Super kick by Bandito. And a deadlift superplex. Beautifully done. Pop-up cutter, but Cassidy kicked out. Bandito then with a one-armed military press slam, which looked very, very nice, and a beautiful frog splash, Cassidy kicked out. Cassidy then with the orange punch and the beach break for the win. A great match between these two. And Orange Cassidy, let me tell you something. If you're still shitting on Orange Cassidy after the body of work that he has put forth in these series of matches with everyone that he's been competing with, he is on the run of his life right now. He is doing some phenomenal shit, really. He is great. He is awesome. And I really think it's about time that people start giving him the respect that he deserves. Really. Matter of fact, when Orange Cassidy loses the AEW International Championship, whenever that may be, I am abso-fucking-lutely putting him up against MJF. I'm not saying he's going to win the championship, but him and MJF in the ring together and having Orange Cassidy be a challenger for MJF, that is absolutely a great move. That's what I would do. Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett took on Dax Harwood. I got some positive and I got some negative to say about this. Let's go with the positive first. Number one, this was Jeff Jarrett's best match in AEW to date. This was Jeff Jarrett's match. This is his best match easily. Best match in AEW to date. And it really goes to show you how good Dax Harwood really is. Goes to show you really how good Dax Harwood really is. Dax Harwood can work with anyone. He can work with anyone. He can wrestle anyone. And he will give you a solid outing. And that right there is respectable. So this was very technical between the two. Jeff Jarrett and Dax. We had a hip toss by Jarrett and a body slam shot by Dax. Nice snap suplex and a tag, or excuse me, a leg drop. I don't know why I said tag. It's probably because these two are in a tag team. Leg drop for 2. Coming back from commercial, Jeff Jarrett and Dax traded fists. We had a shin breaker by Jarrett. Dax with a diving headbutt for a 2. Dax with a beautiful pile driver on Jarrett for a 2. Jarrett tried to walk away before Dax went after him. Dax chopped Jarrett. He went up top. Drop kick missed. We had a catapult into the buckle. Roll up for a 2. Cradle by Dax for a 2. Big lariat by Dax. Jarrett and Dax, they were by the ramp side of the ring, and Jarrett, he was aided by Sanjay Dutt because Sanjay Dutt pulled Dax Harwood's legs out from underneath him. They tried to cheat to win. Dax, like an idiot, went after Sanjay Dutt. Jarrett then hit the stroke, and Jeff Jarrett got the win over Dax Harwood. Positive, easily Jeff Jarrett's best match on television since he's been with AEW. Negative, why the fuck is Dax Harwood losing as one half of the World Tag Team Champions to Jeff Jarrett on television? Now, granted, Jeff Jarrett has been putting over everyone under the sun. He's put over Orange Cassidy. He's put over The Acclaimed. He's put over Darby Allin. He helped put over the Guns. And more likely than not, when Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, when they fight FTR, they're going to put them over too. Granted, they're going to put over FTR. Fine. They're going to put over FTR, and Jeff Jarrett's been putting over everyone under the sun since he's been with AEW. But why exactly do we need Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal to be beating the World Tag Team Champions in singles competition? Why? Just to set up a tag team title match down the line? Why do we need that? And on top of that, here's another big question. Why exactly are we getting Lethal and Jeff Jarrett challenging for the AEW World Tag Team titles again? They've already challenged for the titles on 3 separate occasions. Why are they challenging for them again? Why? You're telling me there's nobody else? You couldn't give us a rematch with the Guns. You couldn't do the Firm to further the Hardy Boys storyline. You couldn't give us that. You couldn't give us anybody else. You couldn't give us fucking... Who else is on the fucker right? You couldn't give us a match with the Acclaimed. You couldn't give us the Butcher and the Blade. Couldn't give us the Blackpool. Anybody. Anybody, but no. No. Anybody else, but you got to give us Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal again. And it happened on Rampage, too. Jay Lethal beat Cash Wheeler. Why? Fucking ridiculous. In no way, shape, or form should FTR, after they just signed new contracts and after they just won the tag team titles, in no way, shape, or form should they be losing non-title matches on television. Fucking ridiculous. What a terrible move. Terrible move to what otherwise was a very good performance by both men. Wasn't anything crazy. I'm not going to go back and rewatch it, but it wasn't a bad performance at all. Really, really stupid fucking decision. Probably the biggest negative of the night right there. Tony Khan. Tony Khan announced the Owen Hart Cup tournament and its opening ceremonies will be taking place at Double or Nothing. He announced, and he was very, very professional with it, he announced that we will have the opening ceremonies at Double or Nothing. Then we will have the tournament starting with matches at Forbidden Door, which will culminate in July in Canada. It will be culminating in July in Canada during their Canadian tour. That right there, that is awesome. That right there, that is great. That is a very, very quality, down-to-earth, very, very classy move by Tony Khan. And the fact that they're taking place in Canada, man, that right there, I bet you that the Hart family, they are very, very happy about that, especially Martha Hart. That is awesome. Very, very, very classy act by Tony Khan right there. Wardlow, he destroyed a jobber, and him and Arn Anderson had a little they had a little back and forth, or at least Arn Anderson was trying to educate Wardlow. Arn said, Beauty and the Beast here, wow. You beat Hobbs to become champion, and I figured who's who in that dressing room. Wardlow, you are a dynasty, but you need to agree with me when you have to pull someone's eye out, maybe bite someone's thumb off. So Arn Anderson is trying to teach Wardlow to be a little bit more aggressive, maybe pull out the Glock, said Arn Anderson. Christian and Luchasaurus came out. They came out and they just tried to get underneath the skin of Arn Anderson and Wardlow. Now, I don't mind the match with Luchasaurus and Christian Cage, or Luchasaurus and Wardlow, if they want to do either Luchasaurus or Christian, or Luchasaurus and Wardlow. I don't mind a match between Wardlow versus either of the two. What I do mind is who's going to win. You can't have Luchasaurus come back and just automatically win the TNT Championship. You can't. And Wardlow has been waiting for something of substance for God knows how long. We need Wardlow to do what Orange Cassidy is doing. I still don't understand, why is it that Orange Cassidy has taken the International Championship and Orange Cassidy has been doing God's work with that championship, but you can't find a solid champion for the TNT title to hold, and they could take the TNT title and do what Orange Cassidy is doing with the International Championship. So I don't mind this match. It's a lose-lose situation, but Wardlow better fucking win. Wardlow better fucking win. You cannot have this title flip-flop again. A television championship doesn't work. It diminishes the prestige of the championship, and it diminishes the prestige of the individual holding it. Wardlow needs to hold on to this championship for an extended period of time, and there should be absolutely zero, and I mean zero, debate on who should win if this match gets confirmed for Double or Nothing. Wardlow wins. Wardlow wins. Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara. Pillars tournament. MJF was on commentary, and we had some very nice back and forth here. We had some crazy shit going down between Sammy and Darby, as per usual. Flying everywhere, and Darby doing scorpion death drops. Darby went for a tope suicida. This was beautiful right here. Darby went for a tope suicida, and Sammy Guevara caught him into a cutter on the outside. Sammy brought out a table. Of course he did, because he's Sammy Guevara. He's fucking nuts. Sammy went on the table. Darby went up top before Ty Conti, or Ty Mello, caused a distraction. Guevara with a Spanish fly in the ring for a 2. Guevara was placed on the table, and Sammy Guevara does a picture-perfect 630 senton through the table onto Darby. Darby just got back into the ring before MJF came down to ringside. Shotgun dropkick by Darby. MJF then caused a distraction, and Sammy Guevara pulled an Eddie Guerrero, where Darby had the skateboard in his hand, and Sammy fell back like Eddie Guerrero would, and it worked. It worked. Sammy won the match, and Jungle Boy then came out to run off MJF and Sammy. While MJF and Sammy were on the stage, Tony Schiavone then got word from Tony Khan, and he said, hold on a minute. He goes, shut up, you little prick, said Tony Schiavone. He goes, next week on Dynamite, there'll be a tag team match. And if you and Sammy can win this tag team match, then you know what? If you guys can win this tag team match, then you know what? It will stay as Sammy Guevara versus MJF at Double or Nothing. However, if you lose, then in the end, we will get Jungle Boy and Darby Allin joining the match, and it will be a Pillars Fatal 4-Way. I like that. MJF made a mockery of the Pillars tournament. He made a mockery of the Pillars tournament, so in the end, Tony Khan says, you know what? I'm going to punish you. You two are going to compete against Jungle Boy and Darby Allin, and if Jungle Boy and Darby Allin win, then the match becomes a Fatal 4-Way. Brilliant. Brilliantly executed, perfectly done, And I like what they did. And you know what? This Pillars Fatal 4-Way is going to be fucking great. It's going to be fucking awesome. Adam Cole. Adam Cole came out to address Chris Jericho. He was not happy. And he goes, Jericho, I know you can hear me. You son of a bitch. Fact, you had me handcuffed and maybe made me watch as you attacked Britt Baker was unforgivable. Bring your ass out here right now. Adam Cole said, all right, you know what? Fine. You're not going to come out? I'll come to you. So Chris Jericho then came up on the Titantron. He said, I don't want to be anywhere near a man like you. You're a coward, and I don't want to hear or see of you. I don't want to be near you at all, but my guys will. Get them, boys. The JAS then overwhelmed Adam Cole. Garcia was out there too. All of a sudden, out came Bandito and Orange Cassidy. And Bandito made friends with Orange Cassidy early on. Bandito and Orange Cassidy came out. They were swarmed by the JAS too because it was 4-on-3. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, The End of Heartache by Killswitch started playing. And out comes Roderick Strong. Yes, Roderick Strong. Apparently, his NXT contract quietly expired back in November. Roderick Strong, out of nowhere. We haven't heard a fucking peep out of Roderick Strong since September. Roderick Strong comes out of nowhere, and Roderick Strong attacks the JAS, and Roderick Strong embraces Adam Cole. That's awesome. That was fucking awesome. All we need now is Kyle O'Reilly. All we need now is Kyle O'Reilly. And when Kyle O'Reilly comes back, holy shit, we got ourselves the Undisputed Elite. We got ourselves one hell of a fucking program with the Elite and the Undisputed Elite, or the Paragon, as they're going to call themselves. Man, Bobby Fish really looks like a fucking idiot for, saying what he said about Triple H, huh? Man, Bobby Fish. Where's the lie? Where's the lie, huh? Roderick Strong, he is a great asset to AEW, and I cannot wait to see what Roderick Strong does in AEW. And him being aligned with Adam Cole, that is a great move. Taya Valkyrie, she took on Jade Cargill for the TBS Championship. This was actually a pretty decent match, and these two actually matched up pretty decently together. It wasn't overly crazy, but something tells me that they're going to do another match. So apparently, Taya Valkyrie could not use the Road to Valhalla, which is pretty much the same exact move as Jade Cargill's Jaded. So Taya slapped Jade. Taya delivered a big lariat. Jade was caught with a boot. Jade tried to skin the cat, but Jade was hit with a boot by Taya. Taya then was dropped by Jade off the apron to the floor. Coming back from commercial, Taya with a knee and a nice sit-out blue thunder bomb for a 2. That looked nice. Jade brought Taya up to the top, and Jade with a beautiful spring up to the top, kind of like what Rollins does. She climbed up the ropes like Rollins does, delivered a nice superplex, and then Jade, out of nowhere, I wasn't fucking expecting this, Jade Cargill pulling out a fucking Canadian Destroyer out of nowhere. Taya Valkyrie kicked out. So I'm thinking to myself, where the fuck was this Jade? Why isn't she allowed to do this shit? So then Jade, after the Canadian Destroyer, Taya reversed the Jaded, hit a double foot stomp. She could not use the Road to Valhalla or she'd be disqualified. Jade took advantage, rolled up Taya with a handful of trunks for the win, and Taya was not happy about it whatsoever. And it looks like they're going to be building towards a second match, which is probably going to be at Double or Nothing, and that is when I believe Taya Valkyrie will win the TBS Championship, because she can't use the Road to Valhalla now. I think that she's going to figure out some sort of loophole where she's going to be able to use the Road to Valhalla probably at Double or Nothing, and that's when we will see a new TBS champion. Only makes sense. Only makes sense. I don't understand why they would do an ending like this if they're not going to give the TBS Championship to Taya Valkyrie. So I didn't mind this ending, and I would not mind another match between the two. And I do believe that that's what they're building to, with Taya Valkyrie inevitably taking the title off of Jade Cargill at Double or Nothing. The main event was Butcher and the Blade versus Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita. Takeshita, he unloaded on the Blade early on. Omega with a Kotaro Crusher, tactic to Takeshita, big crossbody and a flying lariat. Haluva kick in the corner and a beautiful brain buster. So Omega came in after the Blade hit Takeshita with a stunner. We had a big knee by Takeshita after Omega hit a Tope Con Hero on the Blade, and a big knee to the Butcher, and Takeshita won the match. And I like that Takeshita was the one to win the match. These two, they look great together. So Brian then took the mic, and he said he sees one pro wrestler in the ring, and then he sees an amateur. He said Omega is living off of a legacy that he made in Japan. The BCC then attacked Omega and Takeshita. Brian got a screwdriver before the Young Bucks came out, super kicked Claudio and super kicked Yuta, Snapdragon by Omega on Moxley, super kicks from the Bucks. Takeshita was then told by Brian, hey, stop him. They're going to stab Moxley with the screwdriver. Takeshita was trying to think better of it. Takeshita was trying to, calm Omega down. But in the end, the BCC was trying to play up to Takeshita's better nature. They blindsided everyone. Paradigm shift by Moxley. They raised Takeshita's arms. Yuta then low blowed him because Takeshita would not stand side by side with the BCC. And Moxley stabbed him with the screwdriver in the head. First of all, Brian is a dick. And I fucking love that Brian is a dick. Loved what Bryan Danielson did right there. Secondly, with what happened here, some people are saying, what happened? We could very well see Takeshita join the BCC because, hey, Yuta bled with the BCC and now he's in the BCC. What's going to happen with Takeshita? Is Takeshita going to join the BCC? I don't know. Maybe we see Takeshita join the BCC. I mean, you already got Hangman and the Elite. They are the 4. Then you got the Blackpool Combat Club's 5. Who's going to be the 5th guy? Is that going to be a gateway for Kazuchika Okada? I don't know. Could it be Will Ospreay? Could it be Kazuchika Okada? I don't know. Kazuchika Okada, he said he wants to branch out a little bit. He recently lost the IWGP World Championship to Sananda. I don't know. We could very well see Okada in AEW on a consistent basis. That is definitely a possibility. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't know. I like that. I like that that is open. I like that the door is open there. Now, I would have rather have had the International Championship or the Pillars tournament main event the show, but I understand why they didn't. Either way, Takeshita and Omega, they look great. I love that Takeshita is getting the main spotlight, and Takeshita, it looks like that he is going to be the guy that they are going to be building up as the next top-tier star to be made in 2023. Dynamite was very good this week. Minus the whole Jeff Jarrett debacle. But at the end of the day, we're getting some solid build towards Double or Nothing. We got ourselves the Pillars tournament. We're going to see the Elite and the BCC. We are going to see Swerve and Keith Lee. We're going to see Jay White and Ricky Starks. We're probably going to see Wardlow versus Luchasaurus for the TNT Championship. And we're going to see Adam Cole and Chris Jericho. So that right there, that's a solid 6-match lineup. I'm pretty sure we're going to get more matches. Based on a little segment that happened on Rampage, I actually have a theory of who the House of Black are going to be facing as well. But that was AEW Dynamite. Very good show. We got 2 more shows to go over before we get out of here. Let's talk about SmackDown. SmackDown, night 1 of the WWE Draft. I don't want to say this was a bad show because it wasn't terrible, but there wasn't really anything exciting about SmackDown at all. And in the end, it felt like a typical run-of-the-mill, very, very bland episode of SmackDown with the WWE Draft kind of masking as this overly exciting hype that's going to apparently shake the foundation of WWE. When we all know it's not going to do that. That's never going to fucking happen. It's not. It's not going to shake the foundation of WWE. Come on. It's not. It wasn't a terrible show, but there was not any excitement to come out of it. The only thing that we really got of substance was the fact that we got a decent amount of shakeups. There was a lot of people that are moving to different brands, which we'll talk about. And on top of that, we got ourselves a great main event, and the Usos lost, and we're going to see how that is going to play into the whole storyline with Roman Reigns. But night 1 of the WWE Draft, I don't want to say it was bad. It wasn't bad. It was just fucking blah. It was boring. So Triple H kicked off the show. He was on his little podium. He had a podium and all that, little stand. Triple H announced the rules that everyone is eligible, and there will be select picks from NXT as well. And these rosters will take into effect immediately following Backlash. Now, number one was pretty obvious. But the one thing that I liked about the number 1 pick was it was obviously Roman. SmackDown selected Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa, and Roman Reigns. It was a package deal. But no Usos. No Usos. Now, how is that going to play into effect on Monday? Are we going to see the Usos get drafted to SmackDown with Roman? Are we going to see the Usos on Monday Night Raw? What is this going to entail for the Usos? Are the Usos going to be drafted last? Are the Usos going to be drafted last? Are the Usos going to be drafted last to SmackDown? And they could be asking Roman Reigns, well, why did you draft us last? I don't know. I really don't know. But that right there, it's another layer onto the story. Roman, Solo, and Heyman were drafted to SmackDown. No Usos yet. Raw, foolishly, selected Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes is on Raw. Roman is on SmackDown. If you want my thoughts on that, I already stated how I felt about that earlier on in the stream. You can go back and rewatch that after the stream is over. But I already stated how I felt about that. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns on separate brands. I don't like it. I don't like it, and I do not have any faith that WWE is going to tell the story of Cody Rhodes finally beating Roman Reigns at all. The only way that he does that is by winning Money in the Bank. But this was a very, very shitty first round. And especially considering what happened afterwards. SmackDown selected the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. How is that going to work? How is that going to work? She's the Raw Women's Champion. She's the Raw Women's Champion, and she just got drafted to SmackDown. Now, they're going to have to swap titles. Meanwhile, Bianca is in the midst of a 390-day reign as the Raw Women's Champion. She's probably going to break Becky Lynch's record. She's in the midst of this long-ass reign, this long-ass fucking reign, and Rhea Ripley just won the SmackDown Women's Championship. And now they're going to have to fucking swap titles. Fucking stupid. Absolutely stupid. And then Raw selected Becky Lynch. Now, for those of you wondering why Rhea Ripley was not selected, it's because certain superstars were not eligible to be drafted. Certain superstars were not eligible to be drafted on night one. Only the group of superstars that we got was selected to be drafted. We had certain superstars drafted on night one, and then certain superstars are selected to be drafted on night two on Monday Night Raw. Fine, that makes sense. But Raw selected Becky Lynch. I thought that this first round was very, very weak. Very weak, nonsensical, very shitty first round. Very, very shitty first round. So after this shitty first round, the Usos and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens came out to have a little promo. Sami tried one last time to talk some sense into the Usos. Jay said nothing is going to happen but Sami and Owens losing. Owens then promised to keep the titles, and Owens coming off as passionate as ever. And that was pretty much that. Butch took on LA Knight. Butch took on LA Knight, and this was a very good match right here. Very good TV match right here. LA Knight is fucking over. LA Knight is fucking over, and I like that shit. LA Knight, over as all hell. Butch was in control. Knight with a back suplex on the apron. Coming back from commercial, Butch came back with a roundhouse kick for a 2. Butch with a moonsault off the apron to LA Knight. Knight leaped up to the top, delivered a beautiful superplex for a 2. Crowd was chanting for LA Knight. Big boot by Knight. Butch with an armbar. Knight got to the ropes. Butch was sent into the post, and Knight hit the BFT. And Knight finally, LA Knight finally wins a fucking match. LA Knight finally wins a match. Man, we must be living in an alternate fucking universe. I was jumping for fucking joy. LA Knight finally, after all this time, wins a match. And you know what? If Triple H is going to be running Monday Night Raw, I hope LA Knight gets drafted to Raw. I hope LA Knight gets drafted to Raw. Because LA Knight, man, when Sheamus beats Gunther to win the Intercontinental title, LA Knight's going to be right there. LA Knight is going to be right fucking there to win the Intercontinental Championship. They're ready for LA Knight. These crowds are ready for him. He has been more than ready. We had round 2 of the draft. It was Rob Van Dam and Fabulous Freebird, Michael P.S. Hayes. So they came out to announce the next set of picks, which I actually did not mind. At all. So Michael P.S. Hayes announced that SmackDown chose the Street Profits. So the Street Profits are headed back to the Blue Brand. They came as a package deal. Raw selected Imperium. Now that I am very much looking forward to. I am very much looking forward to Imperium. Rob Van Dam, he looked sharp. I gotta admit, Rob Van Dam, he looked sharp, and he announced that Imperium is moving over to Monday Night Raw. Imperium is so damn good that they're going to make Monday Night Raw better. One thing that Monday Night Raw definitely needs, they need more credible stars to really give that show a must-see feel. And Imperium are just that. So Imperium being drafted to Raw, what it also tells me, it's that Triple H seems to be the guy that is going to be solely in control of Raw because now Reigns is on SmackDown, and it seems as though the internal power struggle between Vince and Triple H is going to have Vince in control of SmackDown and Triple H in control of Raw. So if Triple H is in control of Raw and he's going to book the World Heavyweight title scene, moving Imperium over to Raw keeps Gunther in the hands of Triple H. And you know what? I do not have a single fucking complaint about that whatsoever. Not one. Imperium are going to make Raw better because they're just that good. So after Imperium got drafted to Monday Night Raw, we then had Michael P.S. Hayes announcing that Edge, he was drafted to SmackDown, which I do not mind whatsoever. I think Edge on SmackDown is going to do SmackDown very good. Raw selected Matt Riddle. Second round, infinitely better than the first. We then had the Street Profits. They were in a triple threat tag team match against the LWO, Ricochet, and Braun Strowman, and this was a very fun match. Strowman threw Ricochet over the top onto the pile of people. Coming back from commercial, we had Cruz del Toro with a drop kick onto Dawkins, Wild with a big senton onto the Profits on the floor, Cruz back in the ring, Strowman with a big fist to Montez Ford. He delivered the Strowman Express. Dawkins with a tope con hero on the Strowman. Ricochet with a huge dive, taking out Dawkins. Back in the ring, we had the cash out and the frog splash, and the Street Profits get the win in a very fun tag team match. And at the end of the day, Street Profits, they're continuing to win. It looks like we could see a potential match between the Street Profits, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships in due time, which I would not mind. Third round of the draft. We had JBL and Theodore Long. Playa, holla holla. You know it's the Matt Militant. JBL and Teddy Long, they announced the third round. JBL announced that SmackDown selected the almighty Bobby Lashley. I like that. I think Bobby Lashley is going to fit great on SmackDown. And I think Bobby Lashley is going to be a potential challenger for Roman Reigns. If you want to do Lashley versus Roman at Night of Champions, you can absolutely do that. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll wait and see. Teddy announced that Drew McIntyre is now moving back over to Monday Night Raw. So it looks like Drew McIntyre could very well be in the running to win the World Heavyweight Championship. I think they're probably going to do a tournament, and Drew McIntyre is going to be in it. SmackDown selected Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Michin, and AJ Styles, the entire OC. I got no issue with that either. Matter of fact, AJ Styles back and healthy. Him on SmackDown, I think him versus Roman Reigns would be a beautiful match for the Saudi Arabian show at Night of Champions. That would probably be the best match that they could do, considering Cody's now on Raw. Give me Roman and Styles. No complaints whatsoever. Raw selected The Miz. Outside of The Miz, this was actually a very good third round. I had no problems with that. It actually provided a great shakeup. New, fresh roster. I like it. We had a match with Zelina Vega and Sonya Deville. Very quick. Vega got the win. Rhea then attacked Vega, obviously building towards the big match, or the semi-big match, at least for Vega. We all know it's just a regular title defense for Rhea Ripley, where Rhea Ripley's going to end up beating Vega. And Rhea attacked Zelina Vega, delivering a Riptide attempt, but Zelina Vega countered it into a DDT. Who cares? Because I don't. The OC came out to address the crowd. Styles looks happy and healthy, and my God, I am very, very, very happy about that. So the Viking Raiders came out. Styles said, hold on, did you guys come out to pick a fight? Hang on, I have a solution. So Styles sat on the turnbuckle, and he goes, get them, boys. Handle your business. So we got a big brawl with the Viking Raiders being essentially buried at the hands of the OC. Styles then with a phenomenal forearm to Eric, and he said, SmackDown, we are just getting started. So you know what? If they want to have the OC as challengers for the tag team titles and Owens and Zayn, I have no issue with that. Next week, we got Shinsuke Nakamura versus Karrion Kross. We got the OC versus the Viking Raiders. And we got Bad Bunny live on SmackDown next week. The OC and the Viking Raiders next week, I'm actually looking very much forward to it. I actually think that the OC is going to really bring something out of the Viking Raiders. And I do think that they're really going to showcase the competitive nature of the tag team division for sure. Fourth round draft pick. This was actually a kind of a shocking fourth round right here. Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg did the final round. SmackDown selected all of Damage Control. Road Dogg said Raw selected Shinsuke Nakamura. Raw selected Shinsuke Nakamura. SmackDown selected the current NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And Raw selected the current NXT Women's Champion, Indy Hartwell. Here's what I don't understand. I don't understand why exactly these three women were on the call to be called up, but we don't get a Braun Breaker. We don't get a Ilya Dragunov. We don't get a Dijak. We don't get a Pretty Deadly. We don't get a Katana Chance or Caden Carter. We don't get anything along that line. We get nothing along those lines. Nothing. I don't get it. Here's my question. You gave these two championships at NXT Stand and Deliver on April 1st. If you gave these two championships and you were planning on calling them up, why did you even give them championships in the beginning? If they were going to get called up, they should have stayed on NXT, and these titles should have been held by someone else. Why exactly did Roxanne Perez need to lose the championship? Why exactly didn't Tiffany Stratton win the NXT Women's Championship? Why didn't Katana Chance and Caden Carter keep the titles? Unless you're going to do a title unification match between Liv, Raquel, Alba Fire, and Isla Dawn, unless you're going to do a legitimate title unification match right there with those two women tag teams. If you're going to do a title unification match and then you're going to get rid of the women's tag team titles, fine. But at the end of the day, they just booked a tag team title match between Katana, Caden, and Isla and Alba on this coming Tuesday's NXT. So realistically, you just made this even more predictable. It looks like Katana and Caden are going to win the fucking women's tag team titles back. Meanwhile, realistically, what you should have done is you should keep the titles on Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. You should bring them up. You should do a title for title unification match between those two teams, Liv and Raquel, Alba and Isla. You should do a title unification match at Night of Champions. That will live up to the moniker of it being Night of Champions. Do a title unification match and then just eradicate the fucking titles. Simple. Indy Hartwell, I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with Indy Hartwell. If she was going to get called up, why exactly did she retain the fucking women's championship this past Tuesday at NXT Spring Breakin'? Is she injured? Does she have any torn ligaments or anything like that? I don't know what's going on here. I really don't know. If she was going to get called up, why didn't she lose the fucking title? 2 NXT call-ups and completely non-fucking sensical. Completely nonsensical. We did have some more call-ups. So, Sean Ross Sapp reported that we got ourselves more draft picks. SmackDown got Hit Row and Lacey Evans. Raw got the Maximum Male Models, Dexter Lumis, Candice LeRae, the Viking Raiders, Apollo Crews, Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville, Natalya, and 2 NXT picks, Zoe Stark and JD McDonough. One thing I will tell you, I fucking hate the fact that they do fucking draft picks. Legitimately on a fucking Talking Smack episode? A fucking Talking Smack episode in the morning on a Saturday, legitimately right before I went live, and they're doing picks out of random rather than, why don't you just have the entire show be about the draft? Why exactly do we need 5 different matches? You could have gotten away with doing 2 matches. You could have just done the Butch versus LA Knight match in the beginning, and then you could have done the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn later on in the night, and then you could have just done the rest of the show with the draft. The rest of the show could have been the draft, and that could have been it. Really. I don't understand why exactly we need a draft continuing on a fucking Peacock internet show, Peacock YouTube show, talking smack, the SmackDown Lowdown, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't understand why we need a draft continuing on a fucking Peacock talk show that no one fucking watches. Why can't we just have the entirety of the draft take place over the course of one show, and then the second half of the draft take place over the entirety of Raw? One half on Raw, one half on SmackDown. We don't need SmackDown Lowdown Peacock show to host the draft. Fucking stupid. And then we got a couple of free agents. Omos, Mustafa Ali, Dolph Ziggler, and Von Wagner are all free agents. Not really sure what this means. Not really sure how they're going to play that out. But either way, they are free agents. We're going to see where they show up. Main event was the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. This was a great match. Great match. Not as good as their match at WrestleMania, but nevertheless a great match. So Owens was isolated for a while here before we inevitably got the tag to Zayn. Zayn with a Tope Con Hero, Sunset Flip Powerbomb, and a Blue Thunder Bomb. Jay kicked out. Coming back from commercial, Owens with a Cannonball and an Avalanche Fisherman Buster. Jimmy kicked out. We had a super kick by Owens and a pop-up powerbomb. Jay saved it. Sammy went after Jay. Super kick by Jay. Stunner on Jimmy by Owens. Jimmy kicked out. Solo then came out before Matt Riddle came out to run Solo out. And the brawl continued into the crowd. We had a tag to Jay. Double super kicks. Owens kicked out. Usos with more kicks. Owens continued to kick out. Owens continued to fight. Sami Zayn sent Jey Uso into the steps. We had a stunner to Jey, a tag to Zayn, Haluva kick, and Sami retains the titles for his teams in a great match. And it looks like that the Usos are going to be in for a very, very, very rough week ahead of them, because now they have to answer to Roman Reigns. Things are now looking up for the Usos. Solo looked like he was about to fucking send the Usos to the gallows. I don't know. I think that reckoning day for the Usos is coming. But really, a nothing episode, if we're going to be real here. They're just kind of setting up the rosters, and we're not going to get any true, real, exciting storylines until after Backlash. That's pretty much it. We're not going to get any true, real, genuine storylines until after Backlash. And that's it. AEW Rampage. Really nothing to really go back and watch on Rampage. I'm still very, very, very sour on Rampage, especially considering that they just overload the fucking show. They really overload the show. It's not necessary. So we had ourselves Jay White and Juice Robinson versus Ricky Starks and Shawn Spears. This was probably the best thing on the show right here. From an in-ring standpoint, this was the best thing on the show. Jay White and Juice Robinson, they had the fight taken to them early by Ricky Starks and Shawn Spears. It was a brawl in the beginning. Starks and Spears took over control. Bullet Club took over. Spears was isolated before Spears was able to fight back and make the tag to Ricky Starks. He lit up Robinson. Big lariat, back body drop. Starks with a Northern Lights bomb. Tag to Spears. Tag to Spears. Superplex by Starks. Frog splash by Spears. And I believe it was Juice Robinson that kicked out. Tag to Jay White. We had a pop-up spinebuster by Spears. Juice saved it. Starks then took out Juice Robinson on the outside. White knocked Starks off the apron. Super kick by Spears. Spears went for the C4, but Jay White countered into the Blade Runner into the Blade Runner, and Jay White continuing to win. He beats Shawn Spears to win this tag team match. Jay White's looking mighty fine on AEW television. And my God, if we're building towards a Jay White, Ricky Starks match, man, you can sign me up there. You can sign me up there. Very much looking forward to that. And it should be a nice solid match on the Double or Nothing card. The firm deletion. It was stated that the firm deletion will happen next week on Rampage at the Hardy compound. Should be fun. Naturally Limitless. This was Dustin Rhodes and Keith Lee. They took on Charlie James and Brady Pierce. Crowd was chanting for Keith Lee. Keith Lee beeled Dustin Rhodes into James and Pierce. Keith Lee won the match with a spirit bomb, and that was it. And afterwards, Swerve and the Mogul Embassy came out, and they just stared down Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes. Not really sure where this is leading to. I'm assuming that this is leading towards a big-time match between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland at AEW Double or Nothing. And if that's the case, then it looks like Swerve Strickland is going to be the winner there, because I don't understand why Swerve Strickland would not be winning matches. We had a backstage segment with Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara, and I actually thought that this was the best thing on the show. So Ty Conti shooed away Lexi Nair, and she goes, you know, I love you, but you do know MJF is not your friend, right? She goes, you always tell me how you wanted to be a world champion, and now you're going to lay down in the main event of Double or Nothing. Why? Because of money? You don't need money. You don't even like MJF. And Sammy was about to talk. And she goes, no, just listen. It's your turn to listen. And then she walked away. I actually thought this was great. For the 45 seconds that this went, this was great. We had fucking Ty Mello coming off like the smart one of the couple. What the fuck are you doing? You always tell me when you were a kid, you wanted to be a world champion when you were a kid. Now you have the opportunity and you're going to fucking lay down for MJF at Double or Nothing. Why? Because of money? You don't need money. MJF ain't your fucking friend. What the fuck you doing here, Sammy? I like that. I like that a lot. I wish they would do more shit like that. Anna Jay, she took on Ashley D'Amboise. I don't know what the fuck happened with Anna Jay, but she has really regressed in the ring. She really needs to get better and get better fast. Julia Hart then appeared in the ring. She attacked Anna Jay, but Anna Jay sent Julia into the post and then bent her over the post. Pretty much it. Nothing special whatsoever. I don't know why Anna Jay continues to get television time if she's regressed this badly. She really needs to work on her craft. And another thing, Tony Khan. Tony, I've been talking to you, man. Stop overloading the show. Please stop overloading the show. It's not doing Rampage good. Needs to be 3 quality matches. Put talent, put the best possible talent on the show. Enough. Please, enough. Next week on Dynamite, we got Ricky Starks and Juice Robinson, Saraya versus Willow Nightingale, and we also got ourselves a steel cage match confirmed for May 10th, the continuation of Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. It will be Moxley and Omega locked inside a cage, and my God, I cannot wait for it. That's going to be fucking great. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, they took on 3 bums. They won in quick fashion. Pretty much that. And we also got a Tres de Mayo Battle Royal on Dynamite. Could we see the Acclaimed win it? And could we see the Acclaimed as new challengers for the House of Black? If you ask me, that's probably the best match to go with at Double or Nothing. House of Black versus the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, with the House of Black winning, because right now the House of Black should not be losing the Trios Championships. They are doing great stuff with those championships, and they should be on television consistently. And now we're going to get House of Black versus the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass for the trios titles. Main event, Cash Wheeler versus Jay Lethal. Mark Briscoe was out there. This shit pissed me off. Mark Briscoe was out there, and Sanjay Dutt was still fucking cheating. Why is it that we need to go through the same shit with Sanjay Dutt and his posse with Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Jeff Jarrett every fucking time? This shit right here, it's not fucking working. It's terrible television. And why is Cash Wheeler losing here on Rampage in a non-title match when Jay Lethal just watched Jeff Jarrett beat Dax Harwood? Why is FTR losing non-title matches on television? This shit right here is fucking terrible. I realize you're trying to build up a tag team title match between these two teams, but why does it need to result in FTR losing non-title matches? This is why we need a solid tag team division rejuvenated on AEW throughout the year, and we need Jeff Jarrett to take a back seat. I understand that Tony Khan loves Jeff Jarrett's father and all that, but at the end of the day, Jeff Jarrett being on TV in this role, it's hurting Jay Lethal. It's hurting Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal is not going to succeed if this is the best that you have for him. Jay Lethal should be a single star. Jay Lethal should be a single star, and Jay Lethal should be fighting for singles championships. Put him in Ring of Honor. Put him in Ring of Honor. Jay Lethal wins with a lethal injection. Very, very shitty ending. I don't know how this bullshit with Sanjay Dutt is continuing. And if this is the best that you have for Mark Briscoe fighting over Jay Lethal and FTR, this is what you have for him? If he doesn't win that World Television Championship from Samoa Joe in the next coming months, I'm going to have some real big complaints. Where is Mark Briscoe going? Why is he not on Ring of Honor doing his shit and building up a storyline to fight Samoa Joe? Why? Stupid. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into the stream. You guys are great. We went almost 3 hours today, and I think it's time that I get out of here because I got to go work out, take a shower, and relax. I'll be setting up some more streams over the weekend, and I got to prepare for 80s WrestleCon. So if you guys are ready for 80s WrestleCon, next Saturday, May 6th, in the Menon Arena in Morristown, get your tickets, get set up. It's going to be big. It's going to be good. Hurry up, people. You are not going to want to miss a moment of it. Till next time, you already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out all those links in the description. I'm going to get out of here. But before I get out of here, remember, people, who runs the IWC? Who runs the IWC? I want everyone that's active to say it. But even if you don't, I'm going to tell you anyway, because who runs the IWC? Who? But DJ motherfucking Storms. And don't you ever, ever forget it.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.